Good old can of Mike's Hard Strawberry Lemonade. Oh, yeah. So,
as Elliot said, fuck Sephiroth. I'm not going to lie, though. He is a funny antagonist, though. I'm sorry. He is funny. You can't deny that. He's funny.
What's he famous for? Killing security guards, killing sailors, and killing a woman on her knees praying. Kefka poisoned a fucking castle and laughed. I'm like, yeah, Kefka.
And literally destroyed the world.
Yeah.
He destroyed the world order. Well, he didn't destroy the world, but he destroyed the world order.
No, he destroyed the world as we knew it.
Yeah.
And enslaved 3 gods.
So what are you drinking again?
I'm finishing up this Jameson because it's Irishy and smooth.
Oh, Junior's got the black cherry I gave you?
Yeah, I was just... It just pisses me off, man. It's just like, I hate it when people say Final Fantasy VII was the best retro RPG of all time. This shit pisses me off.
It's like anything, what's good and bad is subjective. Some people, 7 is their favorite game. I mean, to me, it's not my favorite by any means, but I do like it.
It's definitely not. Like,
it's not mine.
40% of the game,
feels
Cloud
weird.
is a bitch.
Feels weird only having 3 of us here, but it's everyone's either working or busy or exhausted or tired, and it's like, it's 4 o'clock and I'm exhausted. What?
It's 4 o'clock and it's...
Certain people are already asleep.
Yeah.
So, I was actually going through my phone because it's been cool that we've had so many new fucking news articles that actually had shit backed up. This came back from a while ago. I just wanted to go over it now while we're just here. But the whole thing with Star Wars and stuff, they always say about lightsabers, how they're never getting made. But of course, people out there keep trying to make them. But this guy did make a real life photo saber. And of course says it's extremely dangerous because of course it would be if you make a fucking lightsaber, an actual fucking lightsaber. But the premise was he made it look like a lightsaber. He's got it rigged up to this like huge ass battery fucking volt, and it can actually weld and shit. But like the practicality of like actually making real life lightsabers like they make in movies, it may happen sometime. Like I doubt in our lifetimes, but it will fucking happen. It's just like weapons like that. You don't want people to have access to weapons like that, like a fucking laser sword, like shit.
Technology is far more advanced than people like to think. It's just what they allow us to have access to. It's like like in the Netherlands they have roads that glow in the dark.
Yeah. See, like I said, basically, as of right now, the fucking proto saber and stuff, it's basically a lightsaber. What they showed the guy using it, and it's hooked up to like a fucking massive 10-pound battery pack. So you're not going to be walking around hitting nobody with that thing because you're like, oh, gee, hold on a second. Stand still while I put this battery pack down and start swinging the fuck around.
No, that's time to pull out a Glock and just shoot the guy in the face.
That's also the thing, too. See, what made Star Wars funny is like they have blasters that were like red, like, choo, 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 and you can knock them back. Someone pulls out a fucking machine gun, your lightsaber's not blocking them bullets.
Yeah, but those guns shot slow. I'm like, how the fuck are they so slow? Just pull out a gun and you own the galaxy. A machine gun would own all those blasters, and I'm probably pissed off a Star Wars fan who's on his computer. Here's a very angry letter. Guess what? A Glock 9 will own a blaster. I don't care.
Not to mention, too, it's like, I mean, the whole point of Star Wars was that anybody could pick up a lightsaber, but Jedis were the ones training with them. Jedis, for most part, they were superhuman. That's the point of the Force. That's also the point of, like, decades of fucking training and stuff. You don't just pick it up and start slicing people around. It's not how it works.
Grievous did an amazing job at slicing, just picking them up and slicing people into pastrami or something.
Grievous as well as a friggin' alien cyborg.
Must not watch The Last Skywalker.
Oh, God,
the full Luke.
Started.
Required no training, but then picked up a lightsaber and just started destroying people.
That's what I said, because Rey had the one thing that Luke and everybody, Obi-Wan and Anakin didn't have. She had
Mary Beth.
She had feminism. That's the most. It's the biggest superpower of all. I don't have to train because I'm a girl and I get everything right the first time. Like, oh, okay, that's how that works.
She definitely.
I guess that explains the rising rate of single mothers, huh?
Funny, I listened to this article today, but I want to pop it down because I know Junior wasn't much into this, but I was with
yeah, you like that one, didn't you?
But I was with Elliot because the whole thing was. It was announced back, and I know it's like we tried doing blue collar shit and stuff, but we also talk about entertainment, obviously, like whether it's Johnny Depp and Amber Heard or anybody, Bill Cosby and shit. But the big thing is back in the 80s, a few of us grew up with the movie Dune, and Dune never, for what it was back in the 80s, it was a pretty good fucking film, but obviously with technology and special effects, they couldn't match Doom to what Doom really was. So Dune, the official one, it's got remade now. Warner Brothers announced that for all of 2021, they're putting all their fucking movies out to streaming services, and a lot of people are pissed off about that. Like, and especially the new director. Let's see, it's Denis Villeneuve. He's a French director, but basically, no, he's pissed off because, and like a lot of directors are, Christopher Nolan and stuff, because they're saying that like by you taking films like Dune, he just said, he's slamming Warner Brothers and HBO Max, because he said that when you're sitting there and you're taking, he's like, you already delayed this film by a year because of COVID, understandable, but what a lot of people don't understand what the business is, that HBO Max and AT&T, I guess they spent like almost like $100 billion for this whole merger and shit, and by you sitting there and releasing these films on the streaming services, you're losing fucking billions of dollars in box office sales. It's like if you go out to the theater and these movies make like $500 million, depending on the budget, some of these films aren't really making a freaking profit. When you have like, all your films being released to HBO Max and streaming services, it's like streaming services aren't making the revenue that they're making box office. And he goes, a film like fucking Dune should not be seen on your phone or at your house. You should be seeing Dune in the theater. And I 100% agree with them with that. Like, I told Sue and Mom they missed out 1917. I seen 1917 with Christian last year, and pound for pound, the best cinema experience I've ever seen in my life. And like films like Wonder Woman's coming out Christmas. I don't give a fuck if it is shitty. Madison Avenue's open. I'm going to Madison Avenue to watch Wonder Woman just because I don't want to fucking sit home all day. I don't want to fucking spend. Come on, Godzilla versus King Kong. I don't want to watch that shit in my freaking TV in my living room or my bedroom. I want to go see Godzilla fight King Kong on a goddamn 50-inch screen. Like.
Well, see, that's part of the problem, is just the fact that with COVID-19, though, they're adjusting to the times. And that's why there's so many streaming services that's out. That's why Netflix, Hulu is even more popular than ever. There's so much more subscriptions to these things now because nobody's going anywhere. So that's why the streaming service happens so fast, is because of that. Once COVID-19 hit, if you release everything to the movie theaters, but you have a limit on who can go to the movie theaters, so you're already going to lose sales regardless. Well, regardless of how you look at it, you're going to lose sales.
Well, right now they're saying that yes, it's like, theaters are kind of closed down right now. The funny part though, like Tenet came out with Christopher Nolan, and of course America being what it is, it did a couple million, but Tenet still did 300 million globally, because as we talked about in Thanksgiving with me, Brian, Jamie, with that fucking Demon Soul anime there. Japan, China, old guys, England and stuff, they're all doing fucking great. Like that movie did like $200 million as an anime movie. Like, only still America's having this issue.
No,
but
England's not doing so good. They're about to lock down for a very long time.
There's actually a lot of countries that's in their second lockdown right now that a lot of people don't understand. Well, a lot of people don't realize.
Our news networks don't cover this stuff because they like to control what we know, like we're lemmings. Like, oh, well, you don't need to know that the rest of the world is doing all this, so we're just going to say everyone's a racist if you don't agree with what we say. Well, wait, CNN, fuck you, MSNBC, but you don't agree with us. You're part of the problem. Like, that's why I don't trust news anymore.
Yeah. It was just, stupid. Like the premise was like, whenever the lockdown's going to end for America, whether it's fucking January, February, it's going to sometime, going to fuck end 2021. The vaccine's already being tested. It should be out any fucking day now for most people. And just the point he was making is that for you to take for the entire year and put your entire fucking release out on streaming services only, you're really hurting the overall business. And I'm like, and I do get that, because some people talk about, well, it's movies and shit and streaming services. But the point he was making, I'm just reading an article right here. He just said, it's like, Dune's by far the best movie I've ever made. He's made a few kind of big budget films, but he said that, my team, myself, we devoted 3 years of our lives to make this movie. He goes, our movie's image and sound are designed to be in theaters. He goes, I'm speaking on my own behalf, though I stand in solidarity with the 16 other filmmakers who now face the same fate. Please know I'm with you. These artists are the ones who create movies and series. He said, I strongly believe the future of cinema will still be on the big screen, no matter what any Wall Street person says. Since the dawn of time, humans have deeply needed communal storytelling experiences. Cinema on the big screen is more than a business. It is an art form that brings people together, celebrating humanity, enhancing our empathy for one another. It's one of the very last artistic, in-person collective experiences we share as human beings. Once the pandemic is over, theaters will be filled again with movie lovers. That's my strong belief. So, and he's just like saying that, like, Dune, they wanted to make like an entire fucking franchise, different spinoffs, different series. And he goes, if this movie freaking bombs, he's like, you're not going to get like the kind of budget to get sequels and stuff. And they were just saying, listen to this guy on YouTube, what's up at Netflix. A lot of these Netflix only movies, they work well and stuff, and they work great. But you can tell they're still not like on a big fucking movie budget. But Netflix, right now, HBO Max is still fucking suffering. They're losing billions currently. Netflix is still the biggest streaming service, not even just America, but like on the planet. Netflix can do that kind of stuff. A lot of these companies can't. Like by Warner Brothers making, so you got like 20 fucking movies. They're making like a new Mortal Kombat film, Tom and Jerry film, just all their friggin' films, and like they're just a lot of DC shit, and it just sucks as a fan of film, because like I've always said it, I love going to the movies. Not everybody does. Some people want to sit home all day, and I'm like, I don't. I want to go out. I want to go see a fucking film. I don't want to just watch all of 2021 just seeing everything on my television. Like
part of the thing is though is that nobody knows that everything's going to end next year. Just because a vaccine is coming out doesn't mean everything is going to end by next year, because the first people who have volunteered to actually get, basically be guinea pigs on the vaccine have been suffering severe physical trauma already from it. So, so nothing is in the works yet. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. People are saying, by the end of 2020 and when Joe Biden gets in office, these things are going to end. It's not going to end. Like people have already said, anytime before 2022 is up in the air. Like it's a day by day basis. Anytime before 2022. So it's like, we don't know if all of 2021 is literally going to be exactly what it is right now. And that's another thing. And that's why it's like, with I can't fully agree with what they're saying about how, I can understand their feeling from a money standpoint, because, if they lose money, they're not making as much money. And obviously, that's going to be an issue. And, it is a chance to bring people together to go into the movies, and people don't want to sit home. But if people don't want to comply to something so simple, when if honestly people just had the mindset to just comply to something so simple, we would not be approaching a second lockdown. There are states around the country right now that are in official lockdowns. San Francisco is under another lockdown for at least until the beginning of January. Yeah. Why? People don't listen. It's literally just like, who cares? We all know government has an agenda. We already know the government does not care about the American people. But if you're not going to comply to something so simple, then don't get mad when, people want to when they shut everything down again. At the end of the day, the government has all the power. If you don't comply to something so simple, then this is the result. It's like, look at what was happening in Italy. Look at what happened in China. Look at what happened in all these places. In Italy, if you were caught outside, you were arrested. If you were outside. Like, they had it where you literally had to sit in your house. And if you went outside, you were arrested. They sanitized the streets. They, if you were sick, they were taking care of you in your home, because hospitals were completely filled. So it was just like people were dying left and right. And it was just like, hey, stay in your house or get arrested. You know what I mean? And some people were even in jails in Italy were catching COVID-19. Why? Because those same people that were rounded up because they want to go in the street, they didn't want to listen. They thought they were entitled, got arrested and put in jail. And then they started catching COVID-19. Now you're scared for your life. You didn't give a shit before. So now you give a shit now that you're sitting in a jail cell with potential people that are asymptomatic. Don't care now. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing in America. It's like nobody cares about anything until it directly affects them. Ergo, all these examples, all these news articles, pretty much everything that happens, unless it directly happens to somebody, they don't care. And that's the sad reality of anything with this country. It's like, it's like, that's why these politicians have been sitting in office for 40 plus years, because these people that are comfortable say that, hey, they're doing a good job because they're comfortable. And, I don't know how much better I can explain that, but to me, I can
help if you want.
To me, it's just, that's the premise of America. It's, it doesn't affect me, so it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like, like in 2019, when they did that study that the average salary in America was $63,280. But was that a single person or is that household?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that don't make $63,000 a year. As a matter of fact, more than 2/3 of the country don't. But again, if that doesn't affect you, you're not going to care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they make laws that cater to people, when you make $21.8 billion in profits and you pay $0 in taxes, it doesn't affect you, so you don't care. And it's just like, you want what's better for the country, but you don't care. When that woman lost all of her business, she lost everything. It got 200 retweets and maybe like 600 likes and a few comments.
Yeah.
But something happens to a celebrity, and next thing you know, it's 15,000 reacts, 2,000 shares, 6,000 comments. The priority of the American people is just as screwed up as the economy that's continuing to go on a decline, and the politicians that we continue to keep in office. It's like it's a revolving cycle of this stupid shit. And when it comes to these movies and it comes to these directors, it's like what they don't get is the fact that part of the reason that all this shit is happening is because people don't listen. It's like movie theaters would have already been open. Entertainment centers wouldn't be closed down. Regal Cinemas, all these movie places would already be open right now for us to go see these movies if people would just listen. If people would just say, hey, let me put on this mask before I go into a business. Not just make up some bullshit ass, I got a medical condition as an excuse. Well, if you got a medical condition, what the fuck is you doing here shopping? Yeah. Go home. Go to the hospital.
So far, when I've read about these guys, is they're not against delaying the movies. They understand the fact that some movies have been delayed 6 months, some movies have been delayed a year. What they're upset is that like this guy, David New there is just saying that like a movie like Dune, you should wait until the theaters open back up, and instead of just like now everything's going to HBO Max. And by doing that, like it's figure, when it goes right to HBO Max, the revenue is not going to be there. To like this movie could have did, who knows, 300, 400, 500 million. And like the guy I was watching, Andy, today on YouTube was just saying that like he's like, say for instance, movie does like 300 million, it costs 400 million to make. Yeah, it sucks losing 100 million, but they'll have to bite that. He goes, if this film, or any film goes right to HBO Max, he goes, you're making zero revenue because HBO Max is actually losing money right now. But also, it's like, say, whatever the subscriber count's going to be, it's like I could get HBO Max and give you and Elliot my subscription or my username. You guys can watch anything you wanted to, but like we have to go out to the theater and buy 3 separate tickets and shit. They're not so mad about the theater still being shut down. They're mad at Warner Brothers and AT&T for just saying, hey, everything for next year, everything will be on HBO Max. And we're like, okay, now it's like $5-6 billion in fucking movies are making nothing. And it becomes that thing where a lot of people say, well, who cares? It's just movies. And I'm like, I get that from a business standpoint. Well, number one, all these fucking movie theaters do have employees that are losing a lot of money. But also, guys, let's be honest. Everybody here has watched movies. We've all watched fucking TV shows. Let's not pretend like nobody's ever fucking watched a movie or been to a movie theater. It's like, it's like saying, it's my whole viewpoint is like, even from a blue collar standpoint, is like, well, I don't care about the movie theaters. I'm like, then take your TV and throw your fucking TV outside then. Because whether it's a movie theater or Netflix or Amazon or whatever fuck case, everybody watches television. It's part of American culture now. Before TV was invented, we went to plays. Before fucking plays, man would sit around a fire and tell stories. Like they were saying, storytelling is not something new. Technology of movies is obviously fucking new, but like once the first TV was made, it's become not even part of American culture, a global thing. I mean, but we mentioned that with 2 weeks ago, with Japan and Al made a fucking very valid point. If you have a person that is in a society where it's like, I go to school, I come home. After I go to school, come home, then I finally get to a job as being a doctor, lawyer, or something. I work, come home, work, come home, work, come home, work, come home. After so many fucking years, people start getting suicidal because you're like, damn, I can't go see a theater. Okay, I can't go fucking shopping anymore because everything's shut down. Everything's got to be contact free delivered to me. I can't go to a fucking park. I can't go freaking to a fucking restaurant. So what do? I work, come home, work, come home. If that's the rest of your life, people do get suicidal. People need to fucking go out. I mean, everybody knows, here's it. Like, when I went out for my fucking birthday, it was fantastic getting the fuck out. Like, I don't want to just like drive buses, come home for us until the day I die. That's not in existence. And people start getting to like that. Like they want to like just do something, anything. See a movie, go see a fucking play. People need social interaction. We need recreation. And movies are that escapism and shit.
Well, this might explain why they're having issues. CNN is owned by Warner Media and AT&T, and they're currently $150 billion in debt.
I was just reading that.
They're looking to sell CNN, and CNN's only pushing point right now is Orange Man bad. What's going to happen when, let's say, all this is done and we find out there's no fraud, which with all the videos and stuff, that's not happening. But Biden won legitimately. Not happening. But I don't care. President is president. I still got to wake up and go to work the next day. That's your average blue-collar person. Well, I still have a job, so who fucking cares?
Yeah, so it just makes me sad because everybody, like I said, I liked going to see fucking Avengers Endgame. I liked seeing, like, you know, taking us to go see. I mean, all the movies we watch in fucking Voodoo at some point, they were out in theaters, and, like, that's the point of the theater experience. I have no problem catching up. Most TV shows you watch at home, that's how it is. Sometimes you watch a movie at home, but, like, I'll say it fucking again. I took Christian last year to see Lord of the Rings. I've seen Lord of the Rings 100 times so far, and Christian never seen it in a theater. I went to go Comedy Center and see all 3 Lord of the Rings, and it was a fucking experience. Like, I loved every second of it. It's just, it's not the same being home. It just isn't.
Watching when we went to see Deadpool, the first Deadpool,
everything
in theater compared to seeing it at home, everybody cheering, clapping, and hooting and hollering.
It was funny as fuck.
Yeah, or It Chapter 2, when me and Chris saw it in theater, it's like, oh shit, did that really just compared to in your house? You're like, no, okay.
What I told you about, like me and Elliot watched fucking Dredd a couple weeks ago to catch him on films. Watched Dredd, and Dredd was fantastic here in IMAX. But like tomorrow, if they say, hey, Chris, Comedy Center's back open, they're playing Dredd in theaters. But yo, Elliot, right now, you and Christian, we're going to see fucking Dredd.
We're going to see
I saw Dredd in theaters. I saw Dredd in theaters. Dredd in theaters was fucking amazing. Like it was incredible in the theaters. I mean,
coming for you.
It was definitely one of those sleeper movies that a lot of people thought was just going to be like. You know, a lot of people didn't think it was going to be good, but it was actually pretty fucking fantastic.
You never bet against Carl Urban. I'm just throwing this out there. If you do, bad you.
No, but
bad you.
But the point that I was trying to make more than anything before I went off on that tangent about people being stupid is the fact that what's going on right now, this significant change that's happening in this economy is mostly our fault. Like, it's like, you know, when things not going to the movie theaters, with things not, you know, when society not really going back to normal and stuff like that. A lot of what you were talking about earlier about people just working and going home, that's about the culture. That's about what, you know, that's about what people have put in place in certain places around the world that, you know, like if you think about, you know, you look at China, you look at Japan, you look at all these other places that have higher suicide rates and stuff like that. Because of the fact that they don't go out and they don't do anything, it's because their whole life is only centered around one thing, and that's hard work. Or it's literally just work, and work, and work. That's it. But then you wonder why, you know, they better than us at everything. You know, like you like how most Koreans are, you know, first in the world with beating certain things. Yeah. How most Koreans are better at, you know, Koreans and Japan and Japanese people.
They're better at skin health than us, because let's be honest, those dudes look like they have silky smooth skin.
Yeah, you know, and then how they're better, like you look at Tekken 7, you look at JDCR, who's, you know, he's, you know, one of the best players in Tekken. Like, in all honesty, it's like Asians make up, like, out of the top 10 Tekken players, 7 of them are Asian. Like, it
that's
makes
all they do, though.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. though. They put hours upon hours into these games, and they do that. Yeah. So it's like, because their MO, their structure, their culture is hard work, and it's nothing but work.
That's what sucks too. And we talked about this before. Where I would never get into the whole streaming and the esports thing. It's these guys, they're the best players in the world, and I'm like, and how long does that last? You know, it's like these guys, it doesn't, most of them, it's like, even if you get into the NFL, NBA, any kind of real fucking sport, these guys, you know, the average shelf life with injuries, you know, is like 5 years. But guys who can go distance, like your Brett Favre's, your Tom Brady's, your Jordans and shit, they can go 20, 25 fucking years. But because they physically can and shit. But like all these pros and stuff, they're gamers. These guys, they don't last that long, because it's like after so long, you're like, man, I've been playing fucking video games 70 hours a week for like the past decade, and they start like mentally losing it. Like,
not just that, but if they're caught with Adderall, something as small as Adderall or something to help them focus in their system, they're done.
Speaking of COVID, somebody shared this on Facebook, and a coworker, and I shared this with Al and let you guys. So, you know, with the vaccination being fucking ready and stuff, someone shared this with FDA, Food and Drug Administration. COVID-19 vaccine safety surveillance planning. Here's the good old side effects. Okay. Well, here's the number one side effect. Possible outcome from from getting the COVID vaccine. Death. You know, that's a good side effect, I guess, because, you know, with COVID having as right now, COVID still has a 99% survival rate. But the vaccine, one symptom could be death. So, yeah. Also, pregnancy and birth defects for women. Women being sterile. Okay. Let's see, stroke. Stroke's a really good one. So, just sign me the fuck up, boys. Stroke. And half of those other things I can't even fucking pronounce, you guys. Like something with like Guillain-Barré syndrome, transverse myelitis. I mean, convulsions and seizures. Narcolepsy. That's good to have. Autoimmune disease, arthritis and joint pain, and just like dementia. That's always good.
Did you hear the one story that they're hiding? Apparently, Bill Gates, because he's like backing this 100%, so you have to get multiple injections. Like, you're talking 2+ injections, and 80% of people who have taken it have gotten fevers, severe body aches and pains. They hacked Bill Gates' thing. Now, because it was hacked, they're not going to tell the stories. He wants it tested on black people, and if something bad happens to them, he doesn't care.
Well, he's granted immunity on it.
Yeah,
did you see that? He was already granted immunity for, and it wasn't even just with black people. It was just in general.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much the proprietor of this.
Yeah, he's gonna be a dude who invented computers in under a year. Is like, we got a 95% success rate vaccine for COVID-19, and a lot of people are like, but you haven't cured stuff that's been around for hundreds of years. Why should we trust this? And it's like, you're a conspiracy theorist. You want people to die. The girl who played Black Panther's sister. Did you see what they did to her for questioning this?
Yeah, Shuri.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girl played something white. Latina Green, I think her name is. Yeah, she put up a thing on Twitter about, questioning vaccinations, and people slayed her.
Yep, they were calling her a transphobe, and like, you just want people to die, you fucking transphobe. Yeah, no. And even Donald, the guy who played War Machine, the new
Don
War
Cheadle.
Yeah, he even was
now,
part
this is
of
saying,
the mob.
This is from Reuters.com from June, saying, fact check, Melinda Gates said black people deserve priority access to COVID-19 vaccine.
That's racist.
So
that's racist as hell.
Yeah, you're putting someone ahead of everyone else because of their skin color. That's racist.
Though Gates did argue that African Americans, second to healthcare workers, should be given priority access to the COVID-19 vaccine once it's available, she did not say that they must be vaccinated first. But she still feels like black people deserve it more than everybody else. Why? But the posts that were made have misled users into believing that Gates wants to test the COVID-19 vaccine on black people. Comments include, "We are not crash test dummies. We'll go after you." Now, that is a very racist remark. Uncalled for. How dare she? But in her interview with Time Magazine, she said that the first people that need this vaccine are the 60 million healthcare workers around the world. They deserve it for anybody else. Okay, agreed. Answering the question, who has the highest need for COVID-19 vaccines? Well, in the U.S., that would be black people.
But that's a lie.
So Junior's safe then.
But that's a lie. People have been going around saying that black people get it worse than anyone else, and that's been proven to be a lie.
Quite honestly, many other people of color, they are having disproportionate effects from COVID-19. Black Americans are more likely to die from COVID-19. I mean, that makes Junior dad happy. It says,
do they not go with the health?
They're trying to say that reflecting long-standing disparities in health and inequalities in access to medical care. By early April in Illinois, for example, black people made up 30% of the cases and 40% of the deaths. Okay. Meanwhile, in New York City, the wealthy white people, of course, mostly white, enclave in Gramercy Park in Manhattan has a rate of 31 deaths per 100,000 residents. So they're trying to say basically that black people are poor, so they can't afford health care. White people are rich. Okay. But boy, you haven't been to my fucking house, have you?
But that's a lie, because as long as you have a birth certificate and a social security card, you can just go to your department.
The fact check that says, the verdict was, Melinda Gates did not say that black people must be vaccinated, but after healthcare workers, they should have priority access. Okay.
That's racist.
That's still racist. That's still racist.
Anybody with an ID.
Again, because you imagine if any politician, any celebrity said, you know what, guys, after health workers get vaccinations, white people should get it first.
Racist. That's racist, because you're putting in skin color as a reason why people should get it. If you're saying people who have issues getting health care should get it first, okay, this person doesn't have health care compared to us three, they should get it. Okay, that makes sense to me, because my health care will cover most or all of it. This person isn't going to get any help, they should get it. That's fine. Oh, this person's black, they should get it. That's racist. Why? Because you're basing your decision off of skin color. That is racist.
That's true.
It's 2020, so.
Yeah, I know people are going to be like, no, that's not racist. It's only racist when white people do terrible things to other people. No, racism is... Just look up the definition. Just fucking Google it. This is what's wrong with everything nowadays. Everything has a new definition. Like we saw Steven Crowder when transgenders attack. What is your definition of a woman? My definition is a biological person who has ovaries and a vagina. Okay, so that's a woman too. That's a definition minus anybody who says they're a woman. But that's not the definition. The definition for a woman is a woman, someone born with vagina, ovaries, and all that. That's a woman, just like a man is born with a penis. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow, I have a vagina, I'm a woman, special privilege. Wait. I'm not getting this job because I'm a woman. I have a penis now. Ugh, sexist.
Well, it's because of the fact that they believe that the social progressive definition supersedes the biological definition.
Yeah. That's sexist.
Because that's what it is. And that when I was watching his movie on it, I was sitting in Chris's car and I was watching the whole YouTube video on it. And it was he literally was just every single point that he was making was 100% true. And I agree with his point. I mean, he was presenting nothing but facts. There were no opinions. There was all facts that came out of his mouth. I mean, okay, I won't say all facts, but I would say probably about 95% of the things that came out of his mouth.
And the rest were questions, though.
Were straight facts. And the rest of it was nothing but questions. Yeah. When he asked her how many genders there are, if there's more than 2 genders, and he said there's no definitive amount, you automatically lose whatever argument that you had before. Yeah. She automatically lost the argument because he was making it. He made it point and clear. He brought out a court case from 1948 that specifically said that made it a law that you only can have 2 genders. I always put it like this: if not trying to go crazy with this, but before I kind of like wean off of this topic, my only thing is about them is that community was something that was created by a group of people that didn't want to conform to the idea that there can only be a man and a woman. And because they felt like that, and they gathered a decent sized grouping of people that felt the same way, that they created this safe haven space to have that determination and that feeling that this is what it is. And if you don't accept that, then you're either an ist or a phobe. Yeah, no, and to me, you spew so much more hatred than a person who downright opposes you, because of the fact that if you sit there and you attack that person for not agreeing with you, you automatically spew more hatred. So it's just like you expect. So, and people that are outside the spectrum, and people that like somebody like me, because I don't give a fuck what anybody does. I don't give a shit. You want to cut your dick off and represent yourself as a woman when you're a biological man? Go right the fuck ahead. I don't give a shit what you do with yourself. You know what I mean? I don't care. It doesn't affect my life at all whatsoever. But I'm still gonna have an opinion, and my opinion is the fact that to me is how this whole community was brought about. It was brought about. I mean, gay people have been in this community for a lot longer than people think. You know, this isn't new. You know, it hasn't been, LGBT community has just been on the rise because social media is a weapon to them. It's their weapon. That's why they've been on the rise so much, because they've been literally using it as a weapon, and their safe haven is there on social media. You know, like when we were talking about J.K. Rowling being a transphobe, and she was literally endorsing products that represented transphobia. I thought that was crazy. You know what I mean? To me personally, and like I said, I'm indifferent with anything. Whatever people want to do to represent themselves, I don't care. I'm very indifferent. But if you're gonna go out of your way to hate, that's fucked up. And I'm gonna be, and that's my stance with anything, with any movement, with anybody, with anything and what they have to say. Going back to the racism thing. Do you guys know that in Murdoch, Minnesota, in 2020, the government there in Murdoch, Minnesota approved a whites only church.
Look it up. That.
Look it up. In Murdoch, Minnesota, they literally approved a whites only church.
You said Murdoch, Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Look it up.
I can honestly believe all this shit.
And I'm like, so I was like, wait, but Biden just got voted into office. I thought racism would disappear. So why the hell is there a whites only church?
Because he's friends with KKK members.
Murdoch, Minnesota. City approves conditional permit to allow use of church building by a whites only group.
Like I said, so I thought racism and segregation was gone.
But that's what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are all about, because Kamala Harris's family had black people and she kept black people in jail for whatever.
Yeah.
People of color for small ass crimes. She kept them in jail as long as possible for those like little servitude duties. So
yeah,
people didn't realize this. And the funny thing is, I read an article that 20+% of people who voted for them, if they knew all this plus the Biden's son's laptop, the real story that everyone's trying to hide, over 20% of people who voted for them thinking that it was going to fix all the problems, they would have voted for Trump if they knew the truth. I'm like, yeah, well, stop listening to social media. Do your own investigation. I know it's tough, but everybody has a device in front of them now where you can take the time, look up the facts, and you're like, oh, shit,
yeah,
I was wrong. And it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. We all want something that fits us. And
of course,
unfortunately, not all the time we get the real information. You know what? Donald Trump is an asshole at times. Okay. Biden's an asshole. Yeah. I lived through 8 years of Biden sitting on his thumb with Obama pulling the strings. I've lived through 4 years of Trump. Guess what? I only like the fact I had extra money in my pocket for Trump.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's like, okay, if any of you want to start shit, I will fucking bomb you. Nice.
So, apparently so, yeah. Murdoch is a town of fewer than 300 people, passed a conditional permit Wednesday to allow use of a church building bought by the Astru Folk Assembly. He describes Astru as the religion in which the ethnic European folk have traditionally related to the divine and to the world around them. The website says they are part of the Great Aryan Religiosity? Okay. The Anti-Defamation League describes them as an extremist group. City leaders said the passage of the permit was due to the First Amendment rights. We as the leaders of the City of Murdoch want it to be known that the City of Murdoch condemns racism in all of its forms, conscious, unconscious, any place, any time, now and in the future. The mayor said during Wednesday's meeting, we are committed to building a community that promotes equal justice and opportunity to every single person, regardless of their race. The conditional use permit of the for the FAA is very controversial if you want to make it about religious beliefs. But what is failing to get mentioned for this vote was not about beliefs. The vote was about a zoning permit to let an old abandoned church be used for exactly what it was built for, a church. Now, I understand that the beliefs of those who will be using the church are much different from one another, but that is every person's First Amendment right according to the Constitution.
So why have a whites-only church if you're not promoting racism? Okay, so
well, that's what I'm saying. He's just saying that he's saying it's because it's their religious beliefs.
But it's still racism and segregation, regardless of whether it's their beliefs or not. It's a federal thing that with federal supersedes state, by the way. So if a federal law prohibits racism and segregation, and you approve a whites-only church, you're promoting it. There's no... You can say all the fancy words you want. You're promoting it.
A public meeting was held in October, and while the vote was originally scheduled in November, it was postponed, so the mayor could bring in the city attorney and explain the legal ramifications. I can assure you that nobody thought we would have to deal with a topic like this in our little town, but nothing is predictable in the year of 2020. So the church group says its their statements as the following. We in Astrayu support strong, healthy white family relationships. We want our children to grow up to be mothers and fathers to white children of their own. We believe that those activities and behaviors supportive of the white family should be encouraged, while those activities and behaviors destructive of the white family are to be discouraged. Holy shit.
What about it's supposed to be in the separation of church and state?
Yeah. So like Junior said, I mean, I agree with you, just like, but what they're hiding behind is the veil of, this is our religion. Our religion says we want to promote healthy white families.
But
there is no religion that promotes healthy white families.
That's against the
apparently this one does.
Yeah. No, that's Christ. Fucking racist.
Yeah. You know what's funny to me? This is exactly what I was talking about with the whole uplifting and the promotion of this new mindset of these extra genders. It's something that's created. Like, they created a religion that said, "Oh, well, we're white. We're promoting whites only." Like, you're promoting racism through religion. Yeah. So you're creating something, and you believe that you're right through that creation of a different mindset. This is, you want to know something? And it's just the fact that, again, Murdoch, Minnesota, okay, 300 people in that town, right? Yeah. The town's probably small as shit.
Yeah, with 300 fucking people.
With only 300 people, it's probably small as shit. But it's still the point that, you know what I mean? Like,
that's racist as fuck.
It's still racist. It's still racist. Like, it's like he literally just shot himself in the foot with his own statement. You say, "Oh, we're not promoting racism."
That first statement of, "We are promoting white racists," right off the... Because guess what? If it was a church for only blacks, guess what I'd still be saying? It's fucking racist.
It's racist.
Exactly.
If you had... I mean...
People died to stop segregation. Why the fuck are people trying so hard to bring it back?
Yeah. I don't know.
People said Brown University was an all black college. But that wasn't an all black college. It's just majority black. Like, I don't understand. Like, people just talk just to talk. Yeah. But when you do dumb shit like that, and you sit there and you say you're not promoting racism because you're hiding behind the premise of religion, a religion that was definitely created
for whites,
for white people. Like, it was legitimately created.
We, the Aryan race, start this new religion. You're fucking racist.
You're racist. Like, you're not religious. You're racist. There's nothing religious about, "Oh, we don't want to destroy the white family home." So you're not promoting interracial relationships then. So you're racist. "Oh, I don't expect this person to be," so they can't be with anybody of any other color, of any other descent, but of what they're a part of. So that's racism.
It'll destroy their white value.
So they're saying that this is called, it's called ASATRU. So ASATRU?
Asshat?
It's a white supremacist international organization founded by Stephen McAllen in 1994. Its doctrines are based on ethnic and approach it calls folkish, headquartered in Grass Valley, California, while with chapters worldwide. Okay. But they're considered a non-profit religious organization.
The asshat religion is terribly stupid. And yes, I said asshat.
I mean, you could honestly argue that even some religious groups are terrorist organizations because of the fact that it's like look at Christianity, way back when people were literally dying.
Literally, all the disparities in the Greece mythology were because a woman opened a fucking box, Pandora's box. But guess what? Nobody is smart enough to realize at the very bottom of that box was hope. Nobody gets past it. Like, well, Pandora opened the box and all the horrors were released in the world. But you know what's at the bottom of that box? Hope. Oh, well, don't I feel like... Yeah, you should have read one extra fucking page, genius. Just like most people in Christianity don't understand, Eve was the second woman alive. Lilith was the first who was made from Earth.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah, racist white church, but
the asshat religion. Asshat. ASS.
This popped up. This popped up kind of. It was kind of weird, but it's a strange article about California and stuff. But here's the headline: Companies part of group founded by the California governor collectively got nearly $3 million in PPP loans. Data shows. So basically, go into the article. It's saying how the California governor all the small businesses that were part of his organization started getting these magical loans that they shouldn't have been getting.
Yeah.
So all these other small businesses, I think small businesses now are down by like almost a third. Almost a third of the small businesses in the United States are closed down permanently.
So
yeah, months ago it was 30%. I don't know what it is now, but yeah.
So one of the companies on the list is Villa and Partners Limited Partnership. State records indicate the name is traced back to the Plumpjack Winery Napa. San Francisco billionaire Gordon Getty is an investor, of course. According to the data, the company received a loan of $900,000 on April 14th. In order for the loan to be forgiven, the SBA requires at least 60% be used to cover their wages. Based on their data, Villa Partners retained 14 employees. Hypothetically, if divided equally, each of them would have received around $40,000 to cover their payroll over the period of 3 months. Okay. That would amount to an annual salary of about $160,000 per employee. Pretty good money for people that work at a winery.
That sounds like that money laundering.
Here's the investigation. It's unexpected for a 14-employee organization to get nearly $1 million, said Sean Moulton, a senior policy analyst with Project on Government Oversight. He specialized in tracking PPP funds. The purpose behind this program was to save entry-level jobs, people going in and working on that paycheck. That was what we put out there for to stop unemployment. The average small business loan for California companies retaining 14 employees was $120,000.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. So
throughout the stretch of the pandemic, that makes sense.
So the Plumpjack entity that, according to SBA data, also retained 14 employees, got 7 times that amount. So
follow the paper trail. 5 the one that leads back to the governor.
The average number, well, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what they're saying. This is a company that's affiliated with the governor. The average number of employees retained for every California winery that received more than $900,000 worth of funding had 148 employees. This one had 14 with ties to the governor.
Yep.
It says the Millbrae Pancake House received a $400,000 loan. They have 50 employees. As a comparison,
that makes sense,
that's less than half of what the Villa received. So that seems unfair, you think? Because
that's like 3 times the people, too.
There are small family businesses like ours that need that money, one of the restaurants said. After 6 years of operating, Burke was forced to shut down her family-owned business on November 29th. We're just trying to do the best we can to survive. The money wasn't enough. Yeah. So another company affiliated with the Plumpjack Group is Balboa Cafe Partners that received a $500,000 loan on April 19th. A commercial data firm is estimated in June that Balboa Cafe partnered 7 employees.
Wow.
But the data associated with their loan application states that they retained 55 employees.
And this is a guy that'll get voted back into office because people aren't going to pay attention to these figures.
Yeah. So the Plumpjack Group responds. ABC7 reached out to their management group for clarification of how the money was spent. We received a following statement. They didn't talk to me, they sent them a statement. Like many other companies facing extreme financial duress during the pandemic, we used our loan money to protect our workers, keep them employed. Okay, so
yeah,
bullshit.
7 people, legally 7 people, but on paper 55.
And here's what comes: the governor is not affiliated with the operations of the companies, as his interests are in a blind trust. However, he is listed as the founder on the website, and his sister is listed as the company's president and partner.
So that is a connection. They're fucking retarded. Whoever their lawyer is, fire him, because he literally just pointed the arrow like the governor's not responsible, but the governor is the founder on the website.
According to the governor's 2019 statement on economic interest, they have an ownership interest in 8 companies affiliated with Plumpjack that receive PPP funding. It says, Cal Matters revealed the governor's 2018 tax returns showed he and his wife made $1.2 million from wages and investments, a majority of which stems from his venture in wine and hospitality. ABC reached out to them a second time, requesting payroll records to see how each of the 14 employees was paid. We got the statement back. Our company is operating within the federal guidelines created for the COVID-19 loan receipts. These funds have been critical in keeping our staff employed and continue operations. Okay, but where's the money?
Where's the money?
And where's the proof? But
don't trust the FBI, because it's found out that like 90% of them are corrupt at this point in time.
Yeah. So they're saying that the group will have 2 to 5 years to apply for loan forgiveness if they choose to do so. This means the company may not have to pay back these loans. Funny.
Of course not.
But for any company that does ask for forgiveness, they have to certify when they apply that they retain their employees. That's going to include payroll records, documentation filings. There's a lot of proof that these businesses have to show proving they paid their employees. So
look,
they reach out to the governor for further comment and have yet to hear back.
Of course not.
In total, nearly $16 billion in funding went to more than 130,000 companies just across the Bay Area. $16 billion. The average number of employees companies retained is 10.
So why is it a problem that Donald Trump owns some businesses, but we're finding out that mayors and people in the Senate and governors are literally have their hands in everything, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump owns businesses and ties to Russia instantly. So it's not okay if he does it, but when you have hundreds of other people throughout this country doing it, perfectly fine.
It's because of the fact that people, I said this once and I'll say it again. Presidents are the scapegoats. They are the face of this country and the scapegoats of corrupt organizations.
Yeah.
Here's I'm gonna give you an example. You know Betsy DeVos's husband, right? And $2.2 trillion on that stimulus package, right? This man was handed hundreds of millions of dollars out of that stimulus package as well. Whoever benefits the most off of it is the side that's going to vote for it, right?
Yeah.
For example, why do you think they shut down the second stimulus package talks? It wasn't because of the fact that they were people say, well, they're arguing about giving Americans money. No, that is not their argument. Their argument is who out of them is going to benefit the most. It's which investment they're going to benefit the most out of. It isn't about the American people. Nothing that they've been arguing about is about the American people. We have entered into a well-oiled machine in this country where politicians can literally become rich and under the guise that they're looking out for the American people.
Yeah.
And this has been a thing that's been ongoing for longer than a lot of people realize. Honestly, after like your first 8 to 12 years after your first 8 years in Congress, when you've been in Congress for over 40 years, you understand at that point where your money is going. You understand at that point that what you're doing is not for the benefit of the American people. And you can stand in front of a microphone and cameras all day and tell people that you care about the American people. But people like us that's sitting here, that's talking amongst ourselves, can literally sit there and say that the government does not give a flying fuck about the American people.
Completely agree now.
It has been apparent. It has been apparent since the shutdown of this country. I was like, in April, which was the month that the politicians gave themselves the biggest and most raises I've ever heard since I've become aware in the political game. I have been so appalled by what I've read, how Cuomo can give himself 2 or 3 raises during this pandemic, but you don't have money in the states to save small businesses.
And murders over 5,000 elderly.
Oh, but when he gets investigated for that, it's too political. Wait a minute. It's too political for you to get investigated for you bringing positive COVID-19 patients into nursing homes, and now you want to test the vaccine on elderly in the nursing homes? So you're literally using nursing homes and elderly people as lab rats.
Yeah.
It's funny. I sent that to Al a couple days ago because Al's not here, but I'll just show you what he texted me because I seen this, a friend of mine, John, on Facebook, and John I found this funny where it says, so he put a picture, says, Tale of Two States. Now they showed the governor from Florida, which is Governor Ron DeSantis, and they showed, of course, Governor Cuomo. Florida's population is 22 million. New York's population, 19. Mm-hmm. So they have 3 million more. State income tax in Florida, 0. New York's 8%. State budget for Florida, balanced. Our state budget, we're in debt. So COVID-19 cases, they had 42,000. We had 338,000.
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 deaths, they had 1,800. We have 27,000. Mm-hmm. So it says, for some reason, the media thinks that the Cuomo is doing a good job, though.
Yeah.
So, and I texted, of course, Al, and Al's like, how do you feel about this, Al? Because honestly, besides what we talked about Cuomo, I try staying the fuck out of politics because it's not my thing, but this does affect like our economy and shit, so.
It affects blue collar more than anybody even realizes. So this affects blue collar the most right now.
That's why. So Al texted me. Al just said, "LOL, I agree with that. 100% Cuomo's a piece of shit." But I was like, what does boggle my mind though is that somebody would say something like that, but then get upset if anybody points out the obvious, which is, if you think Cuomo did a shitty job, how would you rate President Trump's performance during COVID? So
okay, President Trump's performance during COVID, I'm gonna give it a grade. Okay, I'm gonna give it a grade. At first, I'll give it a B. At first, but it quickly downgrades to an F, and here's the reason for it. When it was a B, he shut down international travel. When he got news of a possible global pandemic, he shut down travel. But then he got influenced by social media. His number one failure as a president within his 4 years is the fact that he let social media influence him. Any other president so far to date has not ever let social media influence them based on what has happened. President Obama, when he realized that Ebola, which is way fucking worse than COVID-19, was a possibility that it could be entering into the United States, he shut down international travel indefinitely for at least a couple of months to let that die down. He had intense airport security checkpoints, intense. And what ended up happening is that 3 people ended up getting Ebola in the United States. 1 person died. That's a 33% kill rate, right? Over in Africa, where it originated, it had a 27% death rate. 27% death rate. What is the death rate of COVID-19? Less than 1% around the world. Now, let's get something straight. Who did a better job? Obama clearly did a better job of managing a potential pandemic as opposed to Trump. Trump let social media affect him. He let people, when they said something like, oh, you're a racist because you're shutting down international travel. Wait a minute. If you're taking precautions, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with taking precautions because you probably would have limited the spread of COVID-19 that way. You know? That to me, when it became an F is when he stood in front of the American people and said, not only did he let social media affect him, so that brought him from a B to a C. What brought him from a C to a F is that you stood in front of the American people 3 times on 3 separate occasions and said, this is not a serious disease. This is not a pandemic. It is not as bad as people think it is. We have it all under control. Yeah, so why did the country shut down March 17th? This is when it became an F. Like the entire, if it was under control and we had nothing to worry about, the country wouldn't have shut down March 17th. We would not have went under a nationwide pause if it was under control.
And that's why some people, like, I've read this article from Sacha Baron Cohen, a guy who plays Borat. And in Borat, he recently said, people have been asking, like, why a lot of celebrities, why a lot of actors and people in that nature haven't gone to Australia for? Like, oh, is it to escape, like, legal ramifications or stuff, pedophiles? He said, no. He's like, from my viewpoint, him and his wife, he goes, the reason a lot of people who can't afford it are going to Australia is because Australia let the scientists take shit over. America let the politicians take shit over. Yep. And this is why, and he goes, and this is why we want to be there for. And I'm like, you know what? I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
He's
but then we have to blame Fauci and that chick too, because they're supposed to be doctors, but they've been playing politics too.
Yeah.
I put a lot of blame on them. I also put a lot of blame on mayors and governors who have been defying that. Gretchen Whitmer, she was told that it's unconstitutional for her draconic lockdowns. She's still doing it without a care in the world.
Yeah.
So some people are running shit how they want, and they don't care what the judge, jury, nobody says.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Trump failed us, and a lot of people are, oh no, I'm not a major Trump supporter. I'm in the middle. If you're doing good, you're doing good. If you're not doing
I'm indifferent
good,
as well.
But we gotta blame mayors, governors. We have to blame these doctors.
It's politicians though. But even when the doctors were telling these guys, like even Junior would say, well, doctors told Obama, scientists told Obama, shut shit down right there.
Yeah.
This became so fucking in, and that's even like not even just take away fucking Trump, like you said, politicians. different governors, different states, different fucking mayors, different like whatever. It didn't become a fucking a unified nation. It became like, well, you know, the governor of LA does this, the governor Cuomo does different in Florida. Every fucking governor want to do something different, and then they're bitching. But it was all back and forth. Australia, like right here, just says 2 days ago how Australia beat COVID-19. So. And they've been having all their fuck theaters are open, all their fuck restaurants are open. Australia's done with COVID.
Yeah, but it was also up to mayors and governors to stop all these gatherings. Guess what still happened? Mardi Gras with record numbers happened. Upwards of 1 million people attended Mardi Gras, and then after it was done, went to their separate states, their separate hometowns. Like, guess what they brought with them? 1 million people going back to the other states. What did they bring with them?
COVID.
Because these stupid, greedy fucks in New Orleans permitted Mardi Gras to still happen. And then they blamed Trump, saying he should have locked us down. That was your job. He doesn't want to, like, as president, I'm going to supersede what everyone says. Because if he did that, he would have been in the wrong still.
He would have been in the wrong of the American people, but he wouldn't have been wrong in what he did.
But he still would have been in the wrong. That's the issue.
Yeah.
But I'm blaming mayors and governors just as much because they are politicians. Fucking stupid.
Well, they're not stupid. They know how to play the game. This is...
Yeah, but I'm not brainwashed, so they're fucking stupid.
Yeah, they're stupid in the eyes of people who do their research, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, right? It's like what Chris said. Chris said that in places around the world that beat COVID-19, they relied on scientists. But in places around the world that are under their second lockdown, politicians have their hand, like their hand, elbow deep in this COVID-19 game. It's like, okay, you politicians don't even know how to take care of the American people. How do you know how to take care of COVID-19? It's like Fauci, when he became... Like when Trump ordained him to be the leader of the pandemic response team, which was made after he disbanded the force that Obama set up, that was significantly better at responding, by the way. When he set up the pandemic response team and made Dr. Fauci the leader of that, and then Fauci suddenly started to become political. Once a scientist becomes political, once a computer engineer who stole the idea of Microsoft, by the way, becomes political. Once you have other people who've already dabbled their hands in COVID-19 and they start to become political, COVID-19 becomes political. Yeah. And once a disease becomes political, now it's just a pull for power. Who's going to exert their power the most? And obviously, Cuomo, as you clearly see there, I mean, it's just like, okay, you have spring break and all that stuff in Florida, and you have, you know, all these other places and things like that they've been doing things. Okay, yeah. It was like, well, why did the Florida governor do that? But they only had 19,000 deaths with 3 million more in population in the state. But they had spring break.
What's funny is Australia's had total so far 900 people died.
900 people in Australia.
Yeah. For the entire year.
We're irresponsible.
And they said, like, they've in the past month they've had no new cases. And this came from their quote saying, "What you guys do different than the U.S.?" He said, "We had to sacrifice the short term for the long term. That's how we beat it."
Yeah. If they would have just sat there and said nothing is open, everything is shut down.
Even Al sent me this shit. I laughed on TikTok, but he was just laughing about. It's pissed me off even more where they're breaking down other countries, what they're giving their citizens, per month, when we're giving our citizens like $1,200, like
$1,200 over the past of the last 9 months.
Yeah,
9 months, $1,200. There are places around the world that have seen more money than I make in a year.
And I'm gonna probably have the most unlikable comment of this, but we should have called the military and told all these looters, rioters, and protesters, get the fuck back in your house. Because that didn't help, especially when you're finding out some of these people went from state to state to state to do all this stuff.
Yep.
Protesters who were literally going from one coast to the other to protest, loot, riot, or cause disturbances. We should have the military round their asses up, check their ID, get the fuck home now. We should have, for the better of this country, because we heard, well, in 4 weeks most, things will get better back in March. And I'm like, 9 months fucking later. I still have a mask in my pocket. If people get too close, this is fucking stupid.
Oh, by the way, while we're talking about protests and stuff like that, only Democratic states suffered damage.
Fact.
None of the Republican states.
Well, they suffered the most damage. Some Republican states suffered some damage, but the Democratic states suffered billions of dollars worth of damage, which they wanted to put in the stimulus packs, which were instantly denied.
Yeah, I'll tell how that works. Like, that's why I said, like, we can, for the most part, try not to get political, but be civil about stuff. And this is why I was saying to him, like, you know, because I'm still a fan of Stern, even though Howard, the way he handled everything the past month with Trump and everything, I don't appreciate. But Howard had on Cuomo on, so I was texting Alice, I'm like, you know, I want to hear what Howard says of Cuomo and what they talk about. And this is why a lot of fans, for myself included, are kind of pissed at Howard. Because, like, you know, for 90 minutes, they did an interview. And if you didn't know anything about Cuomo, I listened to the interview. Sounds like a very nice guy. Very nice guy, charismatic, suave, very fucking jokester. And it became a 90-minute pure just bashing fucking Trump, which, okay, I get that. Political-wise, that's your perspective. You have that fucking right. The thing I didn't like is that, well, okay, Howard, back in the fucking day, you would have asked Cuomo, okay, since you want to bash Trump for 90 minutes, your platform, you're fucking right, but what about all the things you've done? And it was none of that. It was just a pure 90 minutes, just unstoppable, unrelenting ass-kissing about how much he saved New York and made New York great and stuff, and all the things he's done, and Cuomo should be the next president, and just, like, all promoting, like Cuomo was the fucking patron saint of, like, Earth or something. Like, okay, what about all the horrible shit he's done, though? And, but I find this, like, you know, I told us to fucking Al a couple days ago on WhatsApp, and, like, this is why I've always said politicians generally make me fucking laugh, because, okay, now some people, like, you know, hey, Trump fucking lost, Biden won. Now Trump is flipping out saying, okay, Biden cheated, I'm going to find a way to prove Biden cheated. All this is bullshit. Trump should just fucking bow out and stuff. No way Biden couldn't cheat, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but remember, like Junior said, but 4 years ago when Trump won, all you asses on the left said, no, he cheated.
No, that was me.
Well, I'm just, but you know, politicians, it's like, you remember when Bush won, Al Gore lost? Al Gore won this, Bush cheated, Al Gore won, but then Bush still won. So you accuse Bush of winning, right? But you accuse fucking Bush of cheating. And when fucking Obama, I forgot even like what happened with the Obama administration because I wasn't much in political.
They wanted his birth certificate.
Yeah, so they tried to find different fucking ways about, okay, so then now when Trump fucking won, well, the Russians were fucking involved, Trump fucking cheated, he won. Now that Trump lost, now it's like, oh, Biden cheated, he won. So it's like, you ever notice that the past 5-6 elections, and probably even before that, whenever somebody wins, the loser accuses the other guy of cheating.
Yep.
Every fucking time. Because I guarantee you, had Trump say would have won this election, it would have been the left side, hey guys, well, Trump did win, but he cheated to stay in there. So it's like, the bottom line is, both parties are fucking assholes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just like, and even Howard said this, which again pissed me off more. Howard's like, you know what, guys, even if fucking Biden did cheat, I don't care because I wanted Trump out of there. And I'm like, dude, so that right there, that is as un-American as you can get, because now you're saying that, like, you want the system to be fucking flawed and that bad, where even if there fucking was proof that his party did cheat, you still want him there and want Trump gone. I'm like, so you're promoting cheating a fucking democratic system then?
As long as it fits what you want. Yeah, which is my issue. My issue is calling out this stupidity. Okay, you don't like somebody, you don't like someone. Yeah. Everybody knows, well, who knows me in real life, I hate rap. I fucking hate rap. I think it's missing one letter in front of it, which is a C. Yes, rap is crap, but that's me. You're like, whoa, you know, rap is done. Yeah, there might be rappers out there who did good stuff. I don't like it. I think it's terrible. To my ears, it's terrible. The music I like, somebody's probably going to be like, it's just screaming and banshee wailing. It's fucking stupid. It might be to you, but to me, it has a meaning. But, you know, if we're always just going to say, you know, your music's stupid, then we're instantly always going to be at each other's throats. I understand that people like music for different. Some people like country. I think that shit's suicidal as hell, because when I listen to it, I want to go behind a barn and shoot myself in the head. But I can understand that there are some people who like it because, you know, it helps them get through. Some people might like Justin Bieber because it helps them. I'd rather shoot myself in the head. And, you know, people have their likes in music. But the thing is, if we don't open up a dialogue and try to be like, well, you know, you like this music, I like this music, we're never going to see eye to eye on music, but we can at least appreciate music. Yeah. Can we just not all say that music has a meaning to us? And then you get the assholes like, but this music's better. Who cares what music is better? Music is a powerful, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know why people constantly segregate themselves, and that's what it is. Yeah. It's by like genre. Why do we need a genre? Why can't it just be called music?
Yeah. Well, that's my whole point though for political spectrum, which is why I said I don't get into politics because I just sit back. Like I try being as Joe Rogan, which I'm about to pop this in a second's article, as Joe Rogan-esque as possible. Because like I said, I like the fact that Joe said, I respect the fact that, you know, I was telling people this week, like, you know, Joe will have on, I've listened to a 3-hour podcast of a guy who claims he's seen Bigfoot. Bigfoot is real. He can prove Bigfoot exists. Where's the proof? I don't have it on me, but Bigfoot exists. And it's as batshit crazy as it sounds, but Joe will have on a guy who says Bigfoot's fucking real. He will have on Alex Jones, but then he'll have on Kanye West. Joe will have on anybody because that's how fucking Joe is. And this is my fucking point with the whole political spectrum. It's just like, guys, I see flaws on both fucking sides. But both sides are too busy attacking each other and there's no fucking common ground. It's like there was at least common ground where it's like, hey guys, we want the same end goal, the same end game. We may approach it different ways, but we still want to get to the fucking same thing. Now it's just like, like I said, the past fucking month or so, well, fucking Trump and stuff, he's an asshole for accusing the other side of cheating. I'm like, even if he did for 100% infallible proof that Biden did fucking cheat, you guys will still find excuses of why it's okay that Biden cheated. Because it's an endless soup of bullshit.
Yeah, or vice versa for 2016.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so it's like.
So here's the thing. I had a talk with the Uber driver this morning when I went to go get my phone charger from work. I left my phone charger at work because I'm an idiot.
No, I could have got it for you, but.
So I sat there and this guy was talking to me, and I'm actually glad that I took the Uber driver with him because he said something to me that's going to stick with me for a very long time. And I want you guys to listen to this. This two-party tidbit, there's obviously more than two parties. There's independent and libertarian, right? So
and conservative.
But the Democratic and Republican parties have been established to create division in this country. That is the only role that there is. Because let's be honest. There's Democrats that say Republicans are assholes. There's Republicans that say Democrats are assholes. All right. But in all reality, as any intellectual person would honestly think, every single politician is an asshole. Every single politician does not give a flying fuck about the American people. And if they did, why is it that when it comes down to the American people, they all go silent? Actually, watch all the addresses that's made in Senate. Watch all the addresses that's made everywhere. Every single time something goes on, every single time they're in talks and you listen in, right? Every single time talks about the American people happen, the entire room is silent. Nobody has anything to say when it comes down to the American people. Why? Because they're not thinking about the American people. Their idea of America is if you have it or not. Can you endorse me or not? They're selfish and they're only thinking about themselves. What we elected into office is a person that as of 2021 would have been in the political game for exactly 49 years. And you want to know what else has happened, right? So almost a half a century that this man has been involved in politics. This man has made racial remarks. This man has multiple investigations that suddenly disappeared. This man has a bunch of different things. He had next to zero ideas of how to make anything better under the Obama campaign. He literally was just there. He was just a meme. This man was a meme and pretty much a ghost while he was vice president under Obama for those 8 years.
He's Herbert the pervert.
So, and then on top of that, so the list goes on. But we voted in a band who people pretty much said that, oh, this man here is going to be the person to end, racism is going to suddenly disappear when Trump leaves the office. Oh, now bigots are going to really suffer when Trump leaves the office. Yeah. But here's the thing though. Biden is officially president-elect. A couple of weeks after the actual acknowledgement of him being presidential-elect, that situation in Murdoch, Minnesota happened, where now we have a whites-only church. So again, racism didn't go anywhere because he's racist too.
Well,
and it's proof that he said it in the 70s that he didn't want his children to grow up in inner city areas that he considered a jungle.
Yeah, jungle schools, jungle cities with jungle people.
Exactly. And inner city, that means inner city school with inner city people. And what do you think is in these inner cities? Predominantly black people. It's like, you even look at Albany. Albany is probably like what, maybe I'd say 65% black at this point.
Yeah.
I think the black population in Albany has kind of diminished in Albany over the past like 10, 15 years.
Maybe.
So
a lot of Middle Eastern and Asian from what I've seen.
Yeah. So it's like, so the black population has definitely diminished in Albany, right? So the thing that kills me, more than anything, is the fact that we automatically have this assumption in our mind that we believe is right when it comes to certain politicians. I know that we're not meant to be political, but we got to understand that the blue collar mindset that we should have first and foremost is unity, and we are not unified as a people.
No.
Not by the slightest means. And the reason for it is because we glue our eyes to the screen and we let the screen dictate how we react in our daily life. Instead of doing research on the phone through numerous websites, taking the time to really sit yourself down and say, damn, I didn't know that, but I heard this on the news, but I read this on 4 different websites.
Yeah. So
what are you going to really believe? People don't take the time to do that. You know what I did on my 45-minute break? Yesterday when I was working, I literally just did research on a bunch of different topics. The number one topic that I did the research on was like, the whole trans issue, the whole trans, community and stuff like that. 'Cause I wanted to learn more, again, when it comes to things like that, I'm indifferent. I don't give a fuck, but I still wanted to do my research because I wanted to see where this came from. I wanted to see where this mindset came from. And I did a significant amount of research from 4 different websites, So when it comes down to it, a lot of the things that we're saying, we have done research on. We're not just saying things just to say it. This isn't just a opinion-driven thing. These are facts that we look up, that we present to you guys. So while it may seem like that we don't, it may seem like that we're very strongly opinionated, and we are, we have our own opinions on things. But we also present a lot of facts as well because we do our research outside of what we're looking at on TV. Because CNN, MSNBC, CBS, Fox, none of these stations are going to give you the full story.
No.
All they're going to tell you is the wrong part, or they're going to tell you a tidbit of the good part. They don't really care to give you the full story and the full news of everything that's going on. You know what I mean? But we'll do the research and we'll tell you exactly what it is. We're going to give you the pros and cons of just about everything that's going on. And we're going to tell you that, not everything is green. Grass isn't always greener on the other side.
No.
It's sometimes there's even more dirt patches. And in this situation, there's an incredible amount of dirt patches. Why? Because there has been no good response to anything since the start of this pandemic. I was like, when people start talking about how Australia beat it, and they'd be like, well, the population in Australia, population doesn't mean anything because in Japan, they only had 1,200 deaths and it's considered the most crowded place on earth.
Yep. And
they only had 1,200 deaths. So explain to me how the most crowded place on earth, which had 1 billion people on an island, can only have 1,200 deaths. But in the United States, we had at least 20 times that much because people don't want to listen and people are entitled. If the government mandated, stay in the house, don't go anywhere. We have military personnel to enforce this idea. People would say that this is a tyranny. People would say that the president is a dictator, is a tyrannical bastard. All this, that, and the third. The amount of insults and words that would come out of these people's mouths, even if it was to the benefit of the country in a whole. If the entire country just shut its lights off for 3 weeks, that's trade, manufacturing, everything. For 3 weeks, shut everything down. And for 6 months, cancel bills. Cancel bill paying for 6 months, not delay, because there's a difference between cancel and delay. With delay, you still have to pay everything back. With cancel, you're not getting charged anything extra. So cancel the bill paying for 6 months, shut down the country completely for 3 weeks, let people retain their lives, let people stay the fuck away from each other, because there's obviously people that aren't going to stay away from each other, but it's more so going to happen if absolutely nothing is open. And actual enforcement of the idea. But they didn't do that. The number one mistake that this government has made throughout the entire thing is the fact that they gave the American people a choice. They said, here, do this. We want you to stay home, but we're making it sound like it's an option. That has been the biggest mistake of this COVID-19 thing so far. That has been the biggest mistake in general of giving people a choice. Australia didn't give people a choice. Nothing's open. Stay your ass home for a month. Now look what's happening. No new cases of COVID-19. There's people that have once lived in the United States now live in Australia. Businesses are open. Yeah. Their economy is flourishing. And ours is steadily on a decline. There's a difference. You know what I mean? People kill me with this shit. Like, people really kill me. They really act like they know what they're talking about, and they don't.
So my final thought, said just about the entire thing, is like, Cuomo, Trump, Biden, all these guys, because Trump still has another month left before he leaves. And let's be honest, even the next fucking 4 years, anytime Biden fucks up, they're going to blame Trump anyway. Yep. Just like anytime Trump fucked up, they blame fucking Obama. And every time Obama fucked up, they blame Bush. No. So it's like, it's that's why I said politics in general, I don't, I try not to get involved, because it's like, yeah, sure, I'll agree with that. I can probably find, even Al said it, he can find 5 things Trump has done he agreed with. He can also find 5 things Trump has done is fucked up. Like, and my viewpoint's always been like, even Biden right now, I didn't vote for the guy. One of the first things I heard Biden say was like, I'm going to make sure that no taxes are increased for anybody that makes under $400K a year. Awesome. That would help all of us out, Whether he stays true to that, I have no fucking clue. But off the bat, as a regular fucking worker, if he doesn't increase our taxes and only increases taxes for people making $400,000 and up, awesome. We should fuck tax more rich. But we'll see what happens. I'm just saying. But as a premise, off the bat, cool. Sounds great. I hope it's true. But we'll see. So.
Yeah.
But I've also seen speeches where he said that he's going to reverse the tax cut that Trump did, which means that we're going to get taxed more, just like everybody else. So
that's what I said. We'll see. I mean, we have no idea.
Biden flip flops on everybody because
well, they all do.
Yeah, but Black Lives Matter and Antifa, or at least people who classify themselves as those, I don't know if they really are. And quite frankly, I don't give a shit at this point, because riots and looting have been happening for how many months? So I don't care. Yeah. But they've been attacking Biden supporters and all that. So these same people who are like, get Trump out, are now saying no more white men as president. So it doesn't, these people aren't for any cause.
No.
They just want to cause violence and destruction because they can. They're not for anybody. I don't care what guise they go under. I don't care what name they say they are. I don't care what sign. These people are terrorists and deserve to be treated as such, because when you're attacking Trump supporters and now Biden supporters for no real reason, you're just a terrorist. You've been a terrorist to begin with. Now you're just literally a terrorist. And I know people don't want to say, terrible things in this country. There are far worse things that happen in this world that everybody wants to turn a blind eye to. Yeah. And you're a hypocrite if you do that.
Oh, I got plenty of fucking New York Post articles where guys beating their children to death or something, or women dying, this and that. So yes.
But we need to realize that 9 months of this country burning is fucking enough, because people have died, people have lost their houses, people have become homeless, people have lost their buildings, people are in debt because insurance companies no longer are paying for buildings being set on fire, which is bullshit. But enough is enough. We need to call out this terrorism as what it is.
Once we get done with this news story, I'll actually play on the audio for a TikTok video Al sent me about billionaires and stuff. It's pretty funny. But because obviously you guys are here, but I made this post on a Joe Rogan group about 4 days ago. I actually got like a lot of feedback, and surprisingly, as I say, I like to be civil, and almost like, because Junior knows this. When we talked about this before the podcast started with Elliot, I've heard the name Steven Crowder. I never really was into him. I finally sat down this week and I've been watching every single day more videos of him. And Junior watched some Steven Crowder videos, and I respected the fact that love the guy, I hate the guy. I did like the overall civil discussions and the questions he asked. He wasn't swearing, threatening people. He wanted to ask questions. I've done the same thing myself on social media, but anyway. This post right here, I'll just summarize it, came from the New York Post. Now it says, why the left is lashing out at Joe Rogan and his revolutionary podcast. So, As of December 1st, Joe Rogan is now exclusively to Spotify. He made a $100 million deal this summer. So the show it's at 2009 when he first started. It was just, friends in his home studio laughing and stuff too, and comedians, and it's morphed over time. So as different people discuss their ideas, it's been said that a 3-hour podcast with Rogan yields more book sales than any international tour, TV, interview, or public event. At the same time, a progressive antipathy towards Rogan is reaching new heights of hysteria. Not because the 53-year-old podcaster is some kind of dogmatic Trump supporter conservative, far from it. Rather, Rogan is actually a progressively minded thinker, supporter of LGBT rights, a women's right to choose, drug legalization, who also constantly challenges the orthodoxies of the left. I feel the same way. And such as more concerning dogmas of trans advocacy, the excess of the Me Too movement, and the popular conflation of Trump's more egregious characteristics with the millions of Americans who voted for him. So apparently, Joe had a woman on recently, which caused a lot of controversy and pissed off a lot of Spotify employees, and this is what I don't like. So his signing with Spotify ignited plenty of internal debate about censorship and freedom of speech. Rogan's recent podcast interview with a woman called Abigail Schreier. She made a book called Irreversible Damage, The Transgender Craze Seducing Our Daughters, a controversial book about the dangers of trans identification among teenage girls. Enraged several employees of Spotify. They had 10 separate meetings to remove his episode. There's a thought process now, Joe said in a following episode, that if you're talking at all about trans people, you have to be 100% supportive. You can never question whether or not children should be allowed to transition. All this is madness. Rogan is a fundamental, critical thinker who formulates his views on a case-by-case basis, rather than adhering to ideological narratives. The same man who describes himself as left on everything also asserted that this year he actually would have voted for Trump over Biden because he feels like Biden's his mental decline. For some, Rogan being fluid, open-minded makes perfect sense, but others find it to be cognitive dissonance. So it says, for those heavily invested in political narratives, Rogan also prevented a mortal threat, a grave transgression to their narrow-minded thought bubbles and ideological safe places. Unlike many ideologies, Rogan humanizes perspectives that deviate from his own. I like being proven wrong, he said. I'm the same way. So, as a result, he loosely endorsed Bernie Sanders this year, and of course, people flipped out. So, a piece of Slate this year says that he was unchecked bigotry, transphobia, and sexism of Rogan's platform. So, says last month, I personally experienced progressive backlash against Rogan after I wrote an op-ed in Canada's The Globe explaining how his podcast impacted my life at 19. Hours after it was publicized, my essay ignited a firestorm of outrage and controversy, trending #1 on Twitter in Canada. I had 7,000 tweets, including prominent biology professor Karen Ann Bonder, who said she was repulsed by my praise for Rogan because he's a #white man, and then she deleted it. 4 days later, The Globe and Mail published an alternative perspective entitled Joe Rogan's Podcast is a Vehicle for Intolerance, in which the writer claimed he will pray for the victims for these friendly conversations on Rogan's show for all those whose human rights are fragile. So, yeah.
So basically, the only thing that I got from that is that if you have a difference of opinion, you're a piece of shit.
No, or if you're a white man, then
with a difference of opinion,
your opinion is null and void.
So the ending part said, during the 3 hours of doing Joe's show, you can get taken on a journey from politics and culture to spirituality and introspection. Greenwald told me of his recent appearance on Rogan's podcast. Every word he says, you can feel the sincerity of someone doing their best and not always succeeding to understand the world and all its complexities. So, it is a reason that his show resonates by millions. In other words, as long as Rogan continues to push the envelope while remaining the beloved meat-headed everyman who likes to hunt, smoke weed, crack jokes, our public discourse will continue to expand in diversity for good. He said his right now his podcast is getting hundreds of millions of downloads a month. So,
I love them.
So that's because, like Junior said, the fucking thing was like, Joe said he fucking has no problem with gay rights. He, fucking believes in legalization of marijuana, legalization of fucking shrooms. But even he said he would have fucking voted for Trump. And it's the thing I found funny was that Spotify employees had to have meetings wanting to get his episode removed because he had a woman on, and this woman saying that she doesn't agree with you should be giving teenagers hormone blockers. I agree with that.
I believe this issue's been hit with Law and Order, where it fucked up people and all that. And My thing is, what's with the politics obsession with children's sexuality? Does nobody see an issue with this? Even Biden was like, yeah, little kids will get whatever help they want identifying their sexuality. Dude, it's wrong if a guy questions a child's sexuality and all that because he's seen as a predator. Women, everybody wants to high five the kid. Like, you're like a 14-year-old boy who fucked a 30-year-old hot teacher, high five. But vice versa, we're castrating this fucking dude. But politics come along and it's like, yeah, I want your underage kid to get all the help they need with their sexualization. Dude, fuck off. Yeah. That's not you. It's the parent's choice. But how many times do kids change their mind? I don't know if people have younger brothers and sisters or ever been around kids, but kids change their mind like monthly. I like when I was a kid, I dressed up in girls' clothes. Guess what? I wasn't confused. I just fucking did it because my mind just went there. Doesn't mean I was confused or anything, but I don't understand the disgusting obsession with children's sexuality, because we call that pedophilia, but when politics hit, it's like human rights. What's the difference? If some creep is hunting children sexually, that dude's a pedophile. But when politics do it, it's okay. What's the difference here?
Well, I wanted to hear people's opinions because they said that the article in question was saying like if they feel like people on the left, for Joe having an opinion and have a platform, they want to cancel him or remove his episode for having a woman that challenges their fucking views. So I did ask some fans. This one guy named Brian, I liked what he said. So it said I actually had some pretty good conversations with people, but I did want to see how people felt about this shit because I keep hearing things like the left, the right, conservative, liberals, Republican, Democrats. It seems like every day, I don't know. But this guy said, Joe said he would have voted for Bernie. I believe him. If anything, he sounds more click to the right these days, but so does Joe Biden. I've never missed a single episode of Joe's podcast. I've been down since the snowflakes on the laptop, day one. I'm basically a leftist, according to everyone else, just because I believe in unions. He's like, I understand this is why Joe left LA. It's become the epicenter of liberals. Same reason I could live where I live in Kentucky. It's full of neocon maniacs. I love Joe and I'm always going to tune into his podcast. So this one guy said, it's amazing how tribal our world has become. The people in these comments seem to think there aren't any conservatives in California or liberals in Kentucky. It's like they don't ever walk outside and talk to people anymore. They just read something online and they think they know everything. Imagine liberals who hold some conservative views. And this guy said, I blame the Electoral College. So I said to him, okay, Brian, he's not the only one left in it and who's leaving LA. The modern Hollywood climate reflects the modern Hollywood. We see it in Star Wars, Star Trek, comic books. It's why people are getting sick of these shitty reboots in politics. I was like, actors can't go 5 seconds without tweeting Orange Man bad. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I am anymore, but I tend to agree with Joe Rogan a lot. I'm also very tired of every time a comic makes a joke, they need to be canceled. I was like, this term came from somewhere. He goes, yeah, dude, he goes, I get it. I got banned off Twitter for making a Trump joke. So I said to him, can you tell me what it was? I'm actually curious. What would get you banned off fucking Twitter? He just said, I can't type it verbatim, but I basically said that the only wall Trump needs to be worried about is the one built around his grave to keep all the piss off. So
that's kind of funny.
Yeah. And he got banned fucking from Twitter from saying that. So, and let's see. So this other dude said that, okay, Joe believes in free speech and listens to viewpoints from every side. The fascist left believe no right-wingers deserve a voice, so they're pissed at Rogan for giving them one. So they basically say it's coming down to saying like, the left is like censoring the fucking right. So I'm like, and he got a bunch of likes. And I was like, dude, I do my best to not get political. I'm just open to seeing where these attacks and meetings are coming from Spotify. He had a woman on talking about trans issues and teenagers and kids. As a father, I don't want any fucking chemicals inside my kid. So this guy said, dude, for the 50 millionth time, fascism is a form of right-wing government. You can't say fascist left. That would be like saying it's both white and black. I believe what you're searching for is radical socialist. And he said, well, no, forcible suppression is a strong regimentation of society and the economy. That's literally the Democratic left right now. And he goes, somebody like you just doesn't know what fascism is. So.
Isn't that the thing? Nobody knows what anything is anymore.
So this guy, Eric, I said, Eric, honestly, I don't know what these terms mean anymore. I do know I am tired of one side bullying the other side because they don't type or feel exactly the same way. I often say, what the fuck happened to agree to disagree? My favorite pick of 2020 was a guy holding up a Trump sign, a guy holding up a Biden sign, them shaking hands. What happened to that? Because the media created this massive race war I've never seen in my lifetime. I sit around with friends from all nationalities, and we're like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" So he's like, "Chris, I am with you on it's ridiculous. Most people are not that radical left or right, and just fairly centered and are just trying to make a living for their families."
Bingo.
I was like, "Okay, so Eric, can I ask you a question? A term like racism, I read it on a daily basis, and legit, I'm starting to wonder now in 2020 what the fuck racism even means anymore. So when you're saying fascism isn't correct to what Jeff was saying, how so?" He goes, "All right." He's like, "Chris, there's many definitions of fascism. One thing that the definitions have in common is that the fascists are fiercely nationalistic. Everything for the state, nothing outside of their state. The radical left people today are certainly not fiercely nationalistic. In a whole, fascism does not fit in either the modern left or the modern right. There's one way that fascism is undeniably right-wing, and it's social culturally. Economically, they're certainly not right-wing nor the left-wing. It's just incorrect to call the current radical left people fascists. Their ideology does not align with fascist principles. Could you call them some sort of radical socialist? Perhaps. Radical left-wing people would have to evolve even further." So he goes, "They would also have to abandon things like marriage equality, rights for homosexuals. Those things are against fascist social principles at its core. So it's nowhere near a good fit." So I was like, "Dude, thanks for saying that." I'm like, "I'm going to take a few more minutes to digest all that shit." I'm like, that's what I'm confused on. When I think about the left, I think liberal. But then Joe is actually considered liberal. So I'm like, I love his sense of humor and shit. So I'm like, so I asked him, so then who the fuck is doing so much cancel culture? Why is everybody offended? Why is everything got to be politically correct? I was like, I'm just tired of seeing every comic book, every video game, everything being politically correct now. And he's like, "Chris, cancel culture is a terrible manifestation of radical left, liberal people. For clarification, liberals can be both left and right wing. Classic liberals are more to the right side of the spectrum, espousing liberty first. Modern liberals tend to be more towards equality first, which is more towards the left side. The reason why all these places are having so many articles about things like this is because it generates clicks. It gets angry conservatives to read it. It also gets angry liberals to read it." So
I can agree. They just want this outrage culture it's just like throwing gasoline on a fire. It doesn't matter who's mad, what side you align with. Just they want to keep the hatred going because everybody's going to then go to that area, which makes them money.
I should last to let you speak, Junior, because I'm just the last two. I just said, thanks for saying that. I'm like, I appreciate it. I was like, I just watched a Steven Crowder video with two genders. I loved it. But cancel culture seems like it's coming from the radical left. That's all I needed to know. I was like, thank you. My issue with modern liberals, and they focus so much on equality, I could spend an entire hour typing that we're not all equal. Move on. I also agree with the shit journalism. I was like, it seems to be the kind of people that want participation trophies. And he goes, Chris, I would even go as far to say that it's not all modern liberals, but a radical minority that also happens to be quite vocal. Unfortunately, it seems like too many people are catering to their ridiculous needs. Let's hope it doesn't spread and eventually get squashed over time. I have a feeling like most people are getting sick of this shit. Maybe I'm too optimistic. I would say that most of what you see now in the so-called cancel culture is indeed far from the radical left liberals. However, there have been plenty of cases in the past of cancel culture in the right from conservatives. I hadn't even thought about until in another thread, but you could say that religious conservative right-wing people were the source of a variety of cancel culture throughout history. They had plenty of issues against rap music, homosexuality, and anything considered unsavory to the extreme side of the Christian faith. One could also consider perhaps conservatives' reaction to the kneeling in the NFL, and the boycotts that they tried to do is also a form of cancel culture in itself. Regardless of what your motives are, they did react in a similar fashion that you see radical left liberals react in. I feel like most of these issues are far more bipartisan when you actually sit down and think them through. Perhaps it's a cultural issue, certainly, but it seems to be that the radical left wing contain the lion's share in terms of being the source of that ridiculousness. I don't know, but quite frankly, I'm getting sick of this behavior on both sides, left and right. I just want more center folks to deal with, and certainly somebody like Joe Rogan fits in the center, for sure. And that was it. So.
Completely agree.
What she said was definitely right. I mean, I don't have any arguments with anything that she's saying. And when it comes to like the whole division of, this country and things like that, here is the current American culture in 2020. It's broken down. You can't have an opinion that differs from the loud minority. Because if you do, even if you present facts, you're still a piece of shit. Like, you can't, you're a piece of shit, you're a hater, you're a phobe, you're an ist, because you disagree with the loud minority.
Let's just clarify that that's both left and right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But it's the overall loud minority. And I always speak overall. I don't section off a group of people no matter where they represent. Yeah. I section off people to be that. Like the loud majority, the silent majority of people like us who are indifferent to everything don't give a fuck what's going on out there. Don't give a fuck about what's happening with the whole LGBT community. They don't give a fuck about politicians in a sense. They don't give a fuck about any of that. What they care about is what's happening in their own homes. What they care about is where are they taking this? Why are they taking this country in such a negative direction? And it's not even just politicians. It's just people in general. Why are people so offended at something that 20 years ago you could have been even more offended? You know what I mean? Like back in 2000, there's been plenty of shit that was said back in 2000 that plenty of people could have found offensive. But in 2020, the reason for it, and I will say this again for the 5th time in about 10 episodes, social media is the new public relations. Because because the loud minority lives inside social media. They don't live in the world outside of their phones and outside of what they learn based on clicking on an app on their phone. And because of the fact that they see, oh, this person said this, like you know how we were talking about before about how they section off pieces of video? Like when Trump says something, when anybody said something, they have a 25-minute speech, but you clip 40 seconds of it. So you don't understand the context around what they're saying. You're just hearing the words that are said. And nobody understands context. I wouldn't say nobody. I would say the loud majority. Here's the problem. Here's multiple problems with the loud majority. Multiple problems with the loud majority is that they don't have proper context with anything that they're saying. You know what I mean? With anything that they really have a problem with, they don't come together. They're not even trying to find common ground. They just say everything is wrong. Because if you don't agree with a point, with one of their points, everything you say is wrong. They want to refute everything that you're saying. They're like, well, you're a transphobe, so none of your opinions matter because you don't agree with me on this one little thing. I'm like, if you feel like that, then you also don't have an argument. If you feel like that, when somebody, is trying to present a positive argument for you, like that guy, his name is Steven Crowder, right? Yep. Yeah, Steven Crowder. He was called a piece of shit. They said fuck you to him, called him a scumbag. Yep. Because he had a difference of opinion. He was not aggressive. He was not aggressive at all. He just simply had a difference of opinion, and people attacked him for having a difference of opinion. Even when he presented nothing but factual information with zero aggression, that's all he was met with. And what you people, and I'm talking to the loud minority here, what you people don't understand is that when you meet factual information with hateful aggression, you are the problem. It's not us. We are not the problem. When you create something within a society that is set on their ways, people are automatically not going to agree with what you're saying at first. People are going to outright reject the ideals at first. Why? Because we don't have an understanding of it. You don't just come out of nowhere. When electricity was made, they needed to make a switch to turn it on. You couldn't just sit there and say like this lamp that's here, that's filling us with light. There needed to be a switch to turn it on. Because the light would you can't just, there had to be something needed to be learned to conserve electricity. Yeah. Because at one point when they made the light bulb, it was just on until it blew out. Yeah. So they needed to create something to conserve the electricity so you weren't just having the light on 24/7. You know what I mean? There are always things that you need to do to adjust to something that's new. When you present something like the fact that there's limitless genders in a society where people are where it's true, where we are biologically taught, and this is everywhere in the world, not just in the United States. This is everywhere in the world. We are taught biologically that you are either a man or a woman. And now you suddenly come out and say, let me just create this. Let me create this environment. Let me create this atmosphere. Let me say, nope, this is not what it is. Nope, that's not what it is. It's this. You can't expect billions of people to just suddenly say, oh yeah, you're right. People are going to disagree with you. Yeah. It doesn't mean that they are an ist or a phobe. It just means give us some context. Give us something so we can find some common ground. Nobody wants to have common ground with a difference of opinion. Nobody wants to have common ground with, like when it comes to like governments. Like Chris told me before, families have broken apart because one person voted for one president and one person voted for another. Families have literally ended because of a difference of opinion. I was like, so where's the idea of free speech? Where's the idea of all these things that people say that you come to America for? Where is it? People have lost their jobs. People have lost their livelihoods because they had a difference of opinion. And it's like, that's hate. Like, do you not understand that that's hate? Like, you're spreading hatred. When you say, I don't agree with that, and you attack me for not agreeing with you, and I present you with facts, you're attacking me with hate. This is no longer a discussion. This is hate. And you can't tell whether or not somebody is hateful about something through a social media post unless it's way too obvious. Like, unless they specifically post, I hate trans people. If they post that, then that's when you sit there and you say, oh shit, this person's hateful. That's the only way you're able to determine whether or not this person is a transphobe or a phobe in general for anything. You can't determine a person being an ist or a phobe from a social media post. But because social media is the new public relations, anything you post can and will be used against you in their own court of law.
Well, this is the last person who talked with me, and then again, liked him. We had a pretty good talk, but I'll summarize it. He just said, he's like, Chris, he's like, and I told him I didn't write the article. I'm just going by what the article said. But he goes, you keep saying that only the left supports cancel culture. He goes, you do have to broaden your media sources. My entire life, I watched Christian conservatives movement try to cancel TV shows, but that portray homosexuality, any sexuality. I remember when the right tried to cancel NWA and 2 Live Crew and Public Enemy. They're still trying to ban Cardi B for being indecent. The cancel culture is very much alive and well on the right too. He was just ask Colin Kaepernick. All these kids' TV shows and movies being boycotted at the religious right. As I type this, there are conservatives actively boycotting Netflix, Ben and Jerry's, the NFL, the NBA. Let's follow video games. The left may be rife with cancel culture bullshit, but cancel culture was 100% started by the religious right. Plenty of bullshit cancel cultures across all the political spectrum, my friend. If you only see it one side, then you're not going to pay attention. I said, okay, fair enough. I was like, I won't debate to you name religion. There's been some pretty shady shit done in not just my lifetime, but in American history. I was like, but I also do like a lot of conservative views. But I also disagree with a lot. Like, for instance, like I like what stuff that Ben Shapiro said. Ben Shapiro was against abortion. I'm not. I think woman, do what the fuck you want, lady. That's why I said I never find myself being anything because I don't agree with anything 100%. I find too much wrong with all logic. But I said to him, I was like, my first issue with Cardi B is not because she makes shitty music, because she's a role model for a shit ton of little girls and she shouldn't be. I was like, as well as the Kardashians, the Kaepernick situation. I was like, I understand what Kaepernick did, what he did, but I also understand as an employee, I'm very careful what I do at work and what I say. I was like, I don't come to work wearing a MAGA hat. I also don't come to work wearing a Biden hat because my employer would ask me to leave. If any customer asks me my beliefs, I tell them I'm in a neutral position because while I'm in uniform, I don't want anything I say to be on camera and then be held to my employer. Because if I said the wrong fucking thing to a customer on the fucking bus, they would call, the whatever fucking news or something and say, well, this company endorses these policies. And like, that's not true. So like, I stay out of it and shit. As my personal issue is like the problem I've had with cancel culture is before it was canceling TV shows or music because or video games because of bad words. Now it's the exact same thing. But instead of offending religion, now it's because we can't offend people. And then TV shows and comics need more quote unquote diversity. That seems to be less conservative. And so it seems like we're both fucked, aren't we? I was like, look, I played Doom on Xbox. I was like, and then the religious people says that has too many demons, so it's bad. But then the left tells me, well, it's too racist and too offensive. And I'm like, dude, I just want to kill fucking demons. It's like, how come some of these demons weren't black guys? There's too many fucking black guys. Like, both sides are just canceling each other. So I was like, but all these meetings in Spotify keep happening when Joe has on Alex Jones or Ben Shapiro, all the conservatives. I'm like, or this woman was against trans advocation and not dumping fucking hormones into your kids, and now all the fucking left is flipping out. Like, well, okay, that's her opinion. So I was like, the right doesn't seem to be canceling ist-and-ism or yelling ist-and-ism every 5 seconds. I personally think that they're both fucked up. But a woman who says she feels like there's only two genders shouldn't be fired from her job, and that's coming from the fucking left. So
yeah. That's because I don't agree with anything that becomes politicized. People on both left and right are politicizing what children believe is their rightful choice as gender, but children are still growing. Their minds are malleable, so we can just pretty much say, yeah, well, if they have a bad parent, there's a good chance they'll have a bad upbringing.
Yeah, so he did say, he's like, my point, okay, well, so he goes, I agree with you. He goes, Chris, my point is cancel culture has always been around. The cancel culture is pretty new to the left. Well, the cancel culture coming from the left is a fairly new phenomenon. In the old days, it came from the right. Today it seems to be from all sides. He goes, the left seems to forget what intent is. I agree with that. If a person says or does something unintentionally to hurt others, then fuck them. But if they say something offensive that's taken out of context, well, there needs to be some recognition. He goes, I do hope that the woke culture from Generation Z grows the fuck up. I was like, but like, I still, not to quote fucking Big Al, verbatim, but I still said, I wrote a article, but I did say that, look, I agree with you 100% about intent. It's funny on my podcast, which I'm not here to promote, but I've talked about cancel culture and intent, also context. I'm going to modify words because it's Facebook, but I have black friends talking with me in my podcast. They understand the difference between me saying nigger, which I typed N-O-O-G or N-O-G-G, when I'm reading a news article and saying to insult somebody. I also agree with Joe Rogan, and he talked about the use of the word fag. Said over in England, we talked about it in the podcast, they use the word fag is used all the damn time. But now, as you said, it's the exact same thing. I just bought Eddie Murphy Raw. Me and Junior watched Eddie Murphy Raw. It couldn't be fucking made in 2020 because of how extreme the left is and shit. So Joe Rogan said himself, like, imagine if Blazing Saddles could that be fucking made in 2020's political climate stuff. Nope. So I was like, we talked about my podcast. When the fuck did Eskimo be considered offensive? My sister is mulatto. When is that considered offensive? So I was like, now it's all racist. I'm like, dude, it all gives me a fucking headache. So.
Well, like I brought up, the TikTok trend months ago for Gen Z.
Yeah.
The person who started it got a Wolf's Angel Nazi symbol, and they've been getting backlash because the Gen Z symbol that people have been getting tattooed on them looks like a Nazi symbol. It became politicized, and therefore it went downhill fast. And I don't know why this is the new it factor, but when things become politicized, they're instantly, well, not instantly, but the good meaning behind it goes downhill, as the great one message was, the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah. Well, he asked a question that brought us up to basically what Al kind of said later, because he's like, and this becomes a problem in our country about free speech versus acceptance versus anything. Like, he's like, another point, worth mentioning is that a lot of racism and homophobia have been seen in certain segments of society. He goes, here's an example, here's an article he linked me. A gay couple moves to a spot in Wyoming. Their neighbors tell them that their kind isn't welcome there. You can substitute immigrants or minorities in there in certain parts of the country that would be just treated as bad. I mean, isn't that cancel culture too? And I said, hold up, well, if a gay couple moves into a non-gay neighborhood and they don't want them there, that's not cancel culture. That's just straight up fucking bigotry. So that's not the two. But he goes, if you agree that this is in fact a form of cancel culture, don't we see a lot more of this from the right? And he goes, Not at all saying that there isn't prejudice on the left. There certainly is. But if you're a flaming racist or you hate immigrants, the odds are that your political views skew to the far right. I'm just saying. So, okay, I was like, well, I mentioned Steven Crowder's video, and I actually linked it. I said, I'm not sure that's considered cancel culture. It's just racism or bigotry. I'm like, cancel culture to me is ruining people's lives, getting them fired from their jobs for having a fucking opinion. Even my friend, which I didn't tag out, but Al, my friend who does a podcast with me, he often says people do in fact have the right not to like you. Unless somebody calls you physical harm, I don't see the problem. The issue I found with being canceled is that something that they find funny with a joke or opinion, or not supporting about children's hormones, or in another case, I believe, or if you say that I don't believe that there's more than two genders, the point is that this video is people shouldn't be getting fired over it. Steven talks in that fucking video, people have been fired their jobs. Businesses have been shut down. Lawsuits been happening. Teachers have been fucking fired because they said, no, I don't think there's more than two genders. That I don't agree with, you know? Like, okay, like on Twitter, this black woman put out on fucking Twitter about 4 days ago, she goes that black people are smarter and they are physically superior to white people. That was her Twitter post. And people slayed her and stuff. But like, again, what would I be like to put out if I said, okay, well, white people are smarter and they're physically superior to fucking black people? Well, how would that come out?
Oh my God. So,
what she puts down, like, you know, and I said to him, okay, I saw on Twitter today that a black woman said this. I find her logic to be very flawed and also racist. How would it look like if I said that? I was like, however, I wouldn't want to cost her job, and that she has, nor would I send her death threats. I find her views very flawed, but as Peter Griffin said in Family Guy, I may not agree with your opinion, but I support your right to say it. So I don't know. I mean, I wish I was here to break that down. I want to ask him in person, but like, you know, like that's even with the cancel with the whole fucking gender thing. It's like, oh, well, misgendering somebody considered hate speech. I'm like, is it though? No, because that's what I said. It's like if you call a black fucking dude a nigger, you know what the intent is. You know that's hate speech. You know, you call a gay guy a faggot or say I'm gonna punch you in your faggoty face and kill you. That's hate speech. But because you think, you know, if fucking Elliot puts on a wig and says now I'm a woman, I'm like, you may think you're a woman, but you're not. So that's an opinion. It's like that's not hate speech or nothing.
Yeah.
So that's becoming the fucking issue. So that's with fucking Joe. It's like because he has a woman on who feels like you shouldn't be giving teenage girls and teenage boys fucking hormone therapy and shit. That's an opinion. You want to fucking either get his episode removed or cancel this fucking woman's life or call her all these kind of fucking ists and phobes and because her opinion is you shouldn't be fucking giving children hormone blockers. That's an opinion. It's not hate speech.
Yeah.
And I am seeing this shit on the fucking far left. Like I said, we've seen Steven Crowder. He has questions. How many genders is there? I can't answer you. Well, why not? He's well, like, but Junior said this. We've seen it with all three of us seen this. But if listen to this, not hearing this. Stephen at one point asked a woman, she's like, well, you know, misgendering is considered
an act of violence.
She's an act of violence. He goes, okay, that's illegal. She goes, well, I'm not sure it is. No, it's illegal. She goes, well, it's not. And they kept going back and forth 10 times. She goes, no, an act of violence is illegal. Okay, violence is illegal. So
if I punch you in the face, that's an act of violence, which means it's illegal because I get charged with assault.
And that's still even a problem I have too. Is like, you know, if I call a fucking gay guy a faggot, it sucks, and I'm an asshole for doing it. But am I assaulting him? And now they try to say, well, verbal assault. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. If someone says Christian asshole, am I supposed to get down, get in a fetal position, grab a soy latte, and start fucking crying? He called me an asshole. I'm going to hang myself, okay? If somebody punched me in the fucking face or stabs me with a fucking knife, that's going to hurt. And this whole like words hurt shit. No offense, sweetheart. If I call you a male, but will now identify as they or them, I'm fucking whatever, non-binary. Okay, well, words are an assault. No, me breaking your fucking jaw is an assault, okay? Because I called you ma'am isn't a fucking assault.
But these are the same people who believe that silence is violence. If you don't support their cause, you're committing acts of violence against them. And it makes no sense no matter who tells me. I'm like, wait a second. Maybe I don't care because I have my own bills. I have my own problems that I need to take care of. Yeah. How am I supposed to know who's having what issues in the world? Yep. I don't, because people aren't telling me what the issues are until they're offended. So it makes zero sense whatsoever. Well, guess what? I'm offended because you're taking time away from my day where I have to fix things. I have to pay bills. I have to make sure that my life runs smoothly. So why doesn't it work both ways at that point then?
Yeah. So no, and even my sister said Jamie fucked with the whole like Elliot Page fucking thing. She had an opinion. People were slaying Jamie. I said, we're just stop wasting your fucking time. You know, cause,
that's still funny.
And it said even but Jamie, like mostly Steven Crowder, asked questions. She had a fucking opinion. You can't have that in 2020. No, of course not. So.
Because 2020, everything has been politicized. We can try to stay away from it, but even breathing is politicized. It's like you breathe more towards Joe Biden or Trump. What the fuck does that matter?
This is why I loved. Okay, so this week came out, which said different celebrities, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But McConaughey, because of course McConaughey's like Chris Pratt. Like I told Mom, Chris Pratt. Remember it was a few months back. He goes, guys, I'm staying the fuck out of this. I'm not getting involved in anything. Chris Pratt's a piece of shit. And like, and the big fucking meme was like, Chris Pratt's like, it's like, what happened? I didn't say anything. And like, here's the people on Twitter. That's the point. You didn't say anything.
Silence is violence.
But of course, Hollywood is pissed off at Matthew McConaughey, and I'll tell you why. He's got a new book out, and I listened to this guy's interview on Howard. He's a fucking legend. But like, so Matthew McConaughey criticizes Hollywood far left, says the right is in election denial. Okay. So he said, now McConaughey says that he's an aggressive centrist because you can't be center nowadays. But he goes, he decreed that the far left Hollywood political types during a podcast interview with British comedian Russell Brand. He said that there are a lot of people on the liberal left that absolutely condescend, patronize, and are arrogant towards the other 50%. So, and Russell Brand brought up politics when asking about society condemnation and criticism of ordinary working people. And then Brand said that there's a kind of offhandedness of like, oh, they're dumb, they're voting for Brexit, they're voting for Trump. I don't like it, I don't want to hear it. That's what Russell Brand said. So then McConaughey follows up by saying he expressed a budding interest in politics during the book tour. Says the attitude of the far left prevents the two opposing political sides from coming together. He listed that Hollywood's reaction to Donald Trump's 2016 surprise election win as an example of the attitude. He goes, many people, I'm sure you saw it in our industry, when Trump was voted in 4 years ago, they were in denial that it was real. Some of them were in absolute denial. On the other hand, McConaughey pointed out that many on the right do not believe that Joe Biden won the election. So again, this is exactly. So he goes, this was funny. When Trump fucking won, you guys on the left said Trump didn't win. Now that Trump lost, you assholes on the right said Trump didn't fucking lose. So that's what I've been talking about. So McConaughey said, just like me, he's a centrist. It looks like Biden's our guy. He goes, now you've got the right that's in denial because their side has fake news. And I understand that they've been led fake news. No one knows what the hell to believe, right? So they're putting down their last bastion of defense. McConaughey continue to advocate finding the middle of the road approach since the other two sides of the political aisle are so far apart. He said unnecessary comments and language from the left cause resentment to build. The offended conservative parties look at us in Hollywood going, here's another celebrity, West Coasters and the elites in the Northeast. The left will have to understand the science of meet you in the middle, McConaughey said. So, yeah, everyone's like, fuck McConaughey because he's right. 100%.
He has an opinion, and that's his, I don't care that The Rock voted for who he voted for because I don't control The Rock. I don't control other people. Like I said in 2016, I hated Trump because all the news was he's so bad. But I stated that I can understand why people voted for him because he had some points that directly pointed to what their belief was. I can understand why people voted for Biden in 2020 because his speaking points hit home for a lot of people. I can understand it. I didn't vote because my vote doesn't matter. I don't care how many people are like, well, it really does. No, it really doesn't. I'm not electoral college. I can understand why people vote for who they vote for because just because a speaking point doesn't hit home for me doesn't mean there are millions of other people are not like, holy shit, that's exactly what I want. Vote for who you want to vote for. That's how it is. And don't be ashamed of it either. Unfortunately, in 2020, you're attacked, you're assaulted, and in rare instances, you're even killed for who you vote for on both sides. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
So Al sent me this about Bolivia. That's why I'll share this as last thing for move on. But Al sent me a thing on TikTok about Bolivia and their billionaires, which is kind of fucking funny. I can load this up. So I'm not his biggest fan of TikTok, but when there's a point, so God damn it.
TikTok is Herbert territory, and I avoid it.
There.
Passed a new tax on large fortunes. The tax will be applied to those who have over 4.3 million US dollars, and only 150 Bolivians actually have that much wealth. The money will be spent on social programs aimed at lifting people out of poverty and helping Bolivian workers. So Bolivia can tax people with $4 million fortunes to pay for social programs, but we can't do anything about this guy, or this guy, or this guy, or this guy. All us working people are struggling while these dudes made $1 trillion during this pandemic. I think it's time we take some notes from Bolivia. Bolivia just passed it. New tax.
So, and he was showing pictures. He said this guy. They showed Elon Musk. They showed Zuckerberg. They showed fucking Jeff Bezos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, yeah, kind of funny how that works. How it said all these tax breaks that these guys that are billionaires get, and they just made record-breaking numbers during COVID. And so why did Bolivia just tax other people, but we're not?
Because the politicians that are in office benefit from them.
Exactly.
That's why. That's the only reason.
So thanks, Al.
Like, my question is, why did Zuckerberg put $350 million plus in support in Biden and censor Trump support? You're a public platform. You're not supposed to be biased. So, what's up, Zuckerberg, you piece of shit? Are you like the guy who did MySpace? Do you have a thing for underage Asians? Come on, just let us know.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? This is what a lot of people don't understand. These platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and stuff like that were created by these people. So at the end of the day, they can make the decision on what they want to censor. And regardless of whether or not we agree with it, because we use their program, we have to live with that. You know what I mean? So all the words that they add on to or they take off every day for YouTube, because, you know, YouTube is run by a female. So, you know, every day she's going to probably pick and choose.
Was her Susan Wojcicki or something like that?
I don't know. But all I do know is just the fact that, you know, so she's going to add on words every other day that, you know, are unacceptable to say on YouTube videos and stuff like that. So there's that right there. But when it comes down to these people not being taxed, and when it comes down to these people's fortunes not being touched, it's because the politicians are getting money from these people. Now, I'll be hard pressed to say if somebody handed me $1 million to say, hey, I want this tax break, and I'll give you this amount of money because, you know, you'll technically be getting a tax break too by imposing this tax break from me. People, you know, they're taking that money because, you know, when you're sitting in the House of Representatives, you're getting a couple $100,000 a year. But when you're getting all these endorsements and you're getting all these, you know, people giving you money to make certain laws, now you're making in the millions. You know that these politicians are multimillionaires, if not billionaires. Oh, yes. You know that. You know that for a certain fact. And they're definitely going to hide their wealth. You know what I mean? You're going to hide their wealth in the same way that the people they're protecting are hiding their wealth. It's the same way.
No, that reminds me. No, you said that, and all I could think of was Pelosi's teeth falling out of her mouth, her fake teeth falling out of her mouth, and her $24,000 freezer full of ice cream for some reason.
Like, come on, think about that though. Like, think about that for 1 second. It's like, how is it that you have $21.8 billion in profits? You paid zero in taxes. Zero with $21.8 billion profit. $0 in taxes.
Kind of funny. This came out actually half hour ago on New York Post. Proud Boys and anti-Trump protesters tangle in D.C. as daytime rallies end. So apparently, the Proud Boys and anti-Trump guys got into a fight. No, it's like
another one.
Yes, good. Police in Washington D.C. struggle to keep protesting groups apart as repeated shouting matches broke into scuffles between far-right Proud Boys and left-wing activists affiliated with Antifa. The police made 6 arrests, pepper spray was thrown, punches were thrown, and oh yeah.
Wow, 6 arrests. I'm impressed. That's a massive. I don't feel bad anymore because this year has just furthermore proven that people aren't doing shit.
The cops had to form phalanxes across many of the city streets to keep the groups from apart. At one point, turning back a large contingent of Proud Boys, dressed in their signature black and gold colors, chanting "fuck Antifa," who seemed to intent on reaching the counter demonstrators. So members of the groups got close enough. They started trading punches. Yeah, we turned off for now because it was the noise on here. So it might not be fully dried yet. But they were lobbing smoke bombs and water bottles at each other. And so Antifa and fucking Proud Boys were fighting again.
That's perfectly fine. I love watching the Antifa fail videos. Yeah. I won't lie. I saw one where some dude was wearing his little sister's pants, ran across a highway street and got hit by a car, was in tears fucking laughing. Where this Antifa chick who was trying to pull out broken bottles, some dude just ran up and punched her in the face.
Yeah.
All we gotta do is just put them in here, right?
Yeah, I'll turn it on when we're done.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Good.
So.
Good.
Yeah, Junior. I told because I've been talking to Junior all week about my new friend listen podcast called Becca. So at one point she's like, how you mentioned me in the podcast? I'm like, I'll find a way to trust me. I was like, I'm gonna mention your pale booty.
Yes, like, Becca, we need to hear your voice.
Actually,
especially
give me a second.
with
I will.
That accent.
Hold on, because
I need to hear it.
She's like, I can't tell. She's like, recording me out with Junior Elliot. I need to mention your pale booty. She's like, I can't tell if you mess with me. I'm like, oh, listen tomorrow. She goes, I'm working tomorrow. Listen to it. I was right now. We're talking about COVID. Believe me, your ass is gonna come up. She goes, how will my ass come up? I was like, trust me, your ass is on my mind a lot. She's like, it's pale but powerful.
My God. I want to bring up Becca's ass, that English ass.
Hold on, actually, she's been sending me voice messages. She loves it because
yes, let's hear that voice
she sent me the one. She goes, I sound like such a guy in the morning, and she says me a voice like
better, Becca. I have a thing for. I don't care. I have a thing for accents. I'm gonna fucking hear
her
this.
Accent is just. Let me pull up the first one.
She liked my post about.
She is nuts.
Herbert giving free classes in his basement to people.
Jesus Christ.
I'll give her free class. Let's hear that voice.
I can't even do it.
Yeah, Becca. We're gonna hear that voice, and my waifu from England's gonna get pissed at me, but it's gonna be worth it.
Good morning, lovely. Sorry I disappeared. I bet you guessed it. I fell asleep again. Only because I had to get up at a decent time to go and see my mum today, which only kind of happened as I've only just woke up now and I've got to leave in 20 minutes. So I thought it'd just be easier to voice message you rather than try and get my hands to cooperate with me this early.
Okay, get your hands on something, alright?
No, you're definitely more than just you. And not just because anybody's drunk. And plus, how can you say that to me? Because I said that to you before you've ever told me any of your little stories like last night. I already said you were handsome 5 days ago, maybe?
Fucking English literature.
I'm not the best with keeping track on dates, so don't judge me on that one. But no.
I heard jack off.
Definitely write a book. I'd be interested in reading.
So I sent me one this morning about talking about. I said to her, I was like, I get to hear every day, the way she said, good morning, lovely, and I'm like, oh yes.
Oh, they call it love hunting. My God, that pale ass must be powerful with that accent.
I gotta say something.
Morning, lovely.
Chris, stop downing yourself talking to these girls.
No.
Once in your life,
for
once in your life, have some goddamn confidence.
Today was funny because she's like, I said, listen, if I get to hear every day on my phone, like good morning, lovely, it's awesome, like your voice. She's like, she sent me this one. Fucking goddamn phone.
Fucking phone.
I can assure you every morning if I...
What the hell? Hold that. Yeah, she turned it off. I told him to turn it on afterwards. An idiot.
I don't know how to turn it off.
Left-hand side, it's the power button.
I was obsessed hearing that accent.
Hold on a second.
Fucking turn it off. I want to hear that accent. I think we're good.
Oh, it's still on.
Fuck!
Technical difficulties. Anyway, no. So
I'm obsessed with that accent. I don't give a fuck.
She's like, "Hi, are you having a good day?" I'm like, "Maybe." I mean, I feel better because I can wake up, listen to your voice saying, "Good morning, lovely." So on.
Pasties.
I can assure you every morning if I say good morning, it doesn't sound as nice because this morning I've woke up with my nose blocked. So I sound a bit like a geezer. So I can say morning lovely all you want, but it probably won't have the same effect this morning because I sound a bit husky and awful. So I think I need to go make myself a nice hot cup of tea and see if that stops like that.
Yes, you do, to clear up those congested holes.
Jesus Christ, Elliot.
I don't give a fuck, and I'm unapologetic.
Yeah.
My biggest turn on is an accent.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, because at first, I was telling Junior, she told me that she's actually from
Coming
Ireland.
for you, Becca.
She said that she's from Ireland, and so she's been raised in England. So I said to her, listen, if you ever send me a voice message, which she actually did because she's psychotic, I'm like, I want to hear shit like, I said, I want to see some things like fucking, they're magically delicious.
Touch me,
hold on. Before you play that voice message, I'm going to say, Becca, you are cute.
Yeah, she's very
and
cool.
you definitely are pretty. And you know what? If anybody has anything bad to say about you,
well, fuck you up.
Pretty much. And it's just the fact that, you know what, they got, you know what, it's just like, they got like all these, I don't know what sort of impossible standards that they act like they got over there. But you know what, over here in America, we definitely appreciate it. Like, it's just like, goddamn. And it's just like, Christopher Edwards, don't pay him any attention when he talks down about himself, all right? Yeah. Because that's just it's a trap. It's a trap, all right? Do not allow this man to cox you into thinking that he has no confidence in himself. He does.
I will gladly. Yeah, I remember that with the Pickle Rick. I was like, wait, am I seeing pictures of what she wants to do to Pickle Rick? Because I will fucking get out my card and pay for pay-per-view right now.
Or we were all me and Chris were talking about getting you over here to the United States, all right?
Yes.
And I already said that I will put some money up to make this happen because Chris definitely needs something in his life.
I'll get stabbed.
I'll get
stabbed because the little one is an English chick and she is brutal as
which one is this?
Fuck.
Damn.
Jeez, you're a bit harsh. No, it's not a robot voice. I have just a very flatline voice because I think it just matches my resting bitch face,
I said to her, I want to say shit like, all right. So I texted her and try to make her laugh.
Can she sing that the Frozen song? Papa can. I was like,
put down. If you decide to grace me with your voice, I have to ask you to say a few things. Number one, you have to say they're magically delicious. Number two, you got to say I want me a pot of gold. You have to say they can take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. I'm like,
well, that's Scottish.
Then I'm like, number 4.
That's definitely Scottish.
Well, she said, I was like, number 4, say that, don't worry, that happens to lots of guys. And I'm like, number 5, say, yes, Chris, I'll marry you, stop asking me. And she actually sent it. I'm like, holy shit.
Okay, we gotta hear this. This is sad but funny.
It is. Hold on.
Hello, Chris. I guess you wanted me to say they're magically delicious. I want my pot of gold. They can take our lives, but they cannot take our freedom. Don't worry, that happens up to a lot of guys. And yes, Chris, I will marry you. Stop asking.
She's like, that's hilarious. She's like, oh, so you sound like a fucking robot. She's like, oh, you're so harsh. Like, every time I send her a voicemail, me doing the British accent, she's like, you had me laughing so fucking hard. Like, because I do the shitty British accent. I say,
this is going to sound quite silly, obviously, but I can't believe how actually American you do sound.
Yeah.
Especially when you're reading sentences that I've said back to you.
Yes.
I didn't mean to sound so robotic, I just can't help it when I'm reading, and plus I speak so fast that I have to purposely slow myself down, which doesn't help.
Yes. We all want you to slow down.
Nah, but that's definitely what I'm gonna say. Like, shout out to Becca today because I was in that group.
Oh, I showed you
with
the stuff. She's like,
what group was that again? That we post memes until Zuckerberg bans us?
I forget.
I think that was the first group.
Misfits, so.
Yeah, so that group, and I saw those memes, and those memes were hilarious. Like, those memes were funny as hell.
I gotta show Elliot the video. All right, so Becca, I was like, would you actually hear? Click on that right there.
Is that Becca?
I said to her, would you actually make a fucking video of you eating like banana, yogurt, ice cream? She's like, well, I happen to bring yogurt to work today, and I'm like, well, it's funny because Junior's seen that. The fact that she's laughing the entire time, that's what makes it fucking priceless. I'm like, you had Junior.
Is Becca trying to tell us all something?
It's like,
no, she was trying to tell Chris something.
I don't know.
Like,
I'm gonna just throw this out there. She's gonna be saying the 4th out of 5 things he had her say. That happens to all men. No, it doesn't.
Listen.
Only Chris.
Listen, let me tell you something right now. I know once she comes over to America, because we're gonna make this happen. Like, we're going to be like, okay, here's your passport. You're coming over here now because clearly they don't appreciate you over there.
Am I going to pick her up at the airport? I've done this
We're
before.
probably going to be ended up doing that. Now, here's the thing, right? We're not going to see Chris for a week after this. Based on what he's been telling me, which I'm not going to say anything, but based on what he's been telling me, I'm like, yo, I'm not going to see you for a full week. Like, what's going to end up happening is that he's going to come out, he's going to be smiling, he's going to be freshly shaved.
He's going to be fucking dead.
He's going to be like, about 10 pounds lighter. He's going to be sitting there, I'll be like, damn, Chris, you look drained.
All the liquids in my body have been drained. What the fuck you trying to tell me,
I said
buddy?
this to her, she goes, you had me fucking laugh with your American accent. I said to her, I was like, here. I said, the second you asked me to fly over there, right? I was like, I get a voice message. Oi, Chris, it's your mate Becca. Well, I got a lot of good news for you, as I do. I be England now, and I need you to come over and see me straight away, love. I've been waiting for a good shag, and I know you just demand to do the job proper. so I want you to meet me at the airport, and I will have a jolly old time. I be expecting to pull up me knickers and lick between me eggs like a British bulldog.
Jesus Christ.
After having a full share of orgasms, I'll ride you like a donkey and drain your balls. She's like,
God damn.
She's like, even though you're mocking me, that's pretty accurate. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I guess we'd have to make ourselves scarce then if she's around.
No, I'm telling you right now, when she first gets here, I'm not seeing Chris for a week because he's going to be doing some things. She's going to do some things to him that he's never had happen to him before.
Have you seen Scary Movie 1 where the dude blows a load and bemes a skeleton? That's going to be
That's going to be Chris.
She's going to be glued to the ceiling.
Here's the mom part.
I said that.
She's gonna shoot up like a cannon.
Yeah, literally. She's gonna be fucking glued to the ceiling. I'm like, Chris, are you dead? I'm gonna assume you're Becca. Hi.
Let's see. Oh, shit. Fucking God. That's what good morning, lovely. She's going to her mom's. So I said to her, she's like,
Papa, can you hear me?
I was like, oh my God, you said good morning, lovely. Oh my God, you said I woke up to 5:30 in the morning and I got a hot British girl saying good morning, lovely.
Yes, the power of the accent.
So I said this to her. I was at work on a friggin' break, and I'm like, look, you go into your mom's house and it's fine morning. I've been spending the past 30 minutes playing this out in my head. So she's like, she wrote down, I wrote her fucking dialogue, and I'm gonna read it to her because she's like, I love your little stories, and she's like, I can see you saying that in your horrible British accent. She goes, I've never met anybody like you, makes me laugh, and I'm like, yes, I'm good at something, but let's see. I put down, she's like, I guess like you go into your mom's house. I'm like, oh, mommy, I'm so happy to see you this morning. I've been a very naughty girl.
Why would she say that to her mom? Mommy, my knickers be wet.
So she's like, I've been talking to this yank named Chris, and oi, mommy, he makes me so happy. Here's the mom. Oi, I'm so happy to hear that, my dear. You must tell me all about him. Is he funny? Yes, mommy, he's funny. He makes me giggle in my knickers. So it's delightful the things he says on the telly. Here's mom. Oh, that's so delightful, my darling. Is he a handsome chap? Oh, mommy, I admit he's not much to look at. But I tell him he's anyways, so he adores me in the way I speak with my pale skin. Oh, mommy, I'm head over heels with him. Is it bad I lied to him about his looks? Here's her mother. Oh, bollocks, my dear. Looks aren't everything, darling. What matters is the way he treats you. You think I married your father for his looks? In the background, oh, you two, what the fuck you two going on about? I'm watching my football game. Her mother, oh, Thomas, shut the fuck up. I'm talking to your daughter about this American. She's been texting on the telly. Oh, yes, Daddy. Oi, what's this then? Are you talking to some American, Becca? Oh, yes, Daddy, I am. But he's oh so lovely in the way he talks to me. He doesn't mind that I'm pale like a specter.
Jesus.
Thomas. Oi, that's
fucking Casper White.
So here's the dad. Oi, that tells me that's a good lie. That's a guy. What does he does he have a job, the bugger? Oh yes, Daddy, he does. He works very hard. In fact, he's even working on his day off. He supports his son and his mummy and his sister. He's very honorable. Here's the dad. Well, that sounds like a good old chap, does he? Does he want kids, does he? Oh yes, Daddy, he wants more kids. Here's the mom. Do you have a pic of them, me daughter? Oh yes, mommy, I have pictures. Oh my dear, you are right. His son is adorable. Apparently he didn't get his good looks from his father. Oh, I know, mommy. If we did have kids, I would hope they would look like me. She's
what?
Like
pale as fuck.
She's like, you're fucked up. He's like, we really don't all sound like that. Oh, fuck.
I don't know. When I was over in England for 2 weeks, that sounds about pretty spot on.
I know if I went over there, them motherfuckers would look at me like I'm a alien.
Oh no, they looked at me like that because I was the tallest fucking person in London and in England. Let me tell you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I sent her all shit. That's why she puts down. She's like, I'm fucking speechless right now. She's like,
yes.
I never had anybody make me laugh. Like,
good.
Try the video. It's just her new stupid shit right here.
Becca, Chris is in love with you. I'm just letting you know this already. He's definitely in love.
I don't know. That's too much stuff to be doing with your mouth in one video. I'm kind of confused. Should I be turned on or not?
I'm afraid.
I don't know. Show Junior. He might be confused. That's a lot of shit to do with your mouth.
You're talking to somebody who eats ass.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end, I eat ass. So
your opinion might not matter. Then.
Exactly. My opinion doesn't matter because I'm nasty as fuck. So
I said this earlier because, like, I was on. There's a funny part because, like, she knows like me. She talks fast. I'm like, you know what? Then I can talk my normal speed around you since I talk like a fucking maniac on coke. But I sent her on the fucking bus. I'm like.
Hat trick. Actually, no, hat trick is hockey for 3. This is a 4th one. So I want to see if like you get sick of listening to me too much in one day because so far I'm enjoying this if I'm going out of raw. So don't worry, I'm always talking to myself and pleasing myself. Like, okay, anytime you want to talk to yourself and you want to record it, I need more time to listen to your voice, and I'm fine listening to it. And also with the pleasing yourself, like, I also love pleasing myself. And if you want to watch it, would you like something like that? I'm very pleased by your body.
Fucking Becca on blast here.
I know, right? Damn, dude.
I'll get a notepad out and
it's
I
a
can
Becca
write the stuff
episode.
down. Like, you're such a perverted little man, but yet you also make me laugh so much. I can stand it. It's part of who I am. Like, it's, I can't help that you look that good, but also you have that sense of humor, and just like something about you is very.
Is he having 2 different conversations with himself?
I don't know. This sounds sad.
You're so unique and like no one I've ever met in my
Please
life.
touch me, Becca, with your pale as hell hand.
I sent her. This is a conversation between you and me, and she's like,
She didn't hear this, and I don't know who that one guy is. She's like, damn.
She put down the last. She's like, your accents really do kill me. She's like,
gets worse.
I was like, don't worry. I was like, I'm making myself laugh recording them. As if it's one thing I'm good at doing is pleasing myself. I spend a lot of time pleasing myself. She's like,
it only takes seconds, but I get there.
She's like, oh, don't worry. I'm always talking to myself and pleasing myself. And I'm like, all right. That's like,
if she's English, boy, does she.
Oh, fuck. It's like, no, I said to her the past fucking week, I've never had any feeling makes me laugh the way she does. And it's like, not even like, and it's, the funny part, no, she's adorable, but like, not even in a sexual way. She's just so fucking bonkers, man. Like,
she's down to earth. Yeah, a lot of English chicks really are. They're
not
up for that bullshit.
I showed you in friggin' Carlton's a couple weeks back before I started getting videos over and stuff, and I got WhatsApp, and I showed Junior pictures and stuff, and even like, said that the fucked up part, I keep telling Junior, I had to keep Junior away from my kid. So like, I'm sitting here with Christian's, we're in a bedroom. I'm sitting in freaking Becca. I was like, hey, here's the cat Chloe and stuff that the cat's been beating her whole life. But then, like, here's Christian. So I'm like, and he's like, oh, Dad, who's Becca? I was like, look, here's a friend of mine. Here's a picture and stuff. And he's like, yeah, a lot of guys have called her fat and stuff and said she's like overweight. And he's like, Dad, he's like, I've seen pictures of Becca. She's not fat. She's very pretty. I'm like, yeah. He's like, who's really fat? He's like, Junior's dad. Junior's dad is really fat. I'm like, you got to stop hanging out with them.
Okay, all right. So let's get this straight. Okay, let's get this straight. The standard of fat in the United States is definitely different, obviously, than over there in London. Because it's like, let me tell you something. She is definitely not fat. Like, she's not.
I will not lie. I was too distracted by her mouth movements.
Jesus Christ. But she's not fat at all.
No.
And she's actually really cute. Like, she's pretty.
I don't know. It's kind of confusing with all that white stuff on her face and the mouth movement.
And I also, I heard about, this person, Ben, you know what, Ben, you don't deserve her, Ben. You You know what I'm
coming
saying?
for
like,
you, Ben.
Of all the freaky shit that I've been hearing, you know what I'm saying? Like, Ben, you
I saw Big
give
Ben
it up,
in
Ben.
2018, and it was under construction, so we're coming for you.
Fucking Ben. We don't like you already, Ben. We don't even know you.
That's a
Fuck you, Ben.
stereotypical male British name, Ben.
Fucking piece of shit.
My cousin's
fuck you,
married
Ben.
to a man named Ben from Liverpool.
That's right. She told me, she's like, years. She's like years ago. She's like, I was hanging out with his friends, and they all said they wondered why a guy like him would date someone like me. I was, what do you mean? She's like, well, they all felt like how someone as petite as him would date a woman of my size, and I'm like,
we would snap him in half like a fucking twig.
She weighs like 112 fucking pounds. Like,
The chick I know is like 130, and literally 40 pounds of that is in her ass and chest. And I'm like,
she ain't here. I'm like, trust back. You want to see fat? I got a cousin and I got a sister. You want to see fat?
Yeah, you want to see fat.
and one of them's going to be wearing a supernatural sweater. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Blooded.
Hey, what can I say? One of them is obsessed with supernatural.
No, but here's the thing, though. But the thing is, though, it's just that it's just like, I mean, we notice things like that. You know, with women, they body shame each other a lot because they're in that environment where, you know, they're not appreciated for who they are. And it's just like, yo, there's so many women that's out there that's like that. And it'd be like, yo, there's even girls that I talk to that always be telling, they'd be like, oh, I'm so fat, or I'm not really pretty. And I'd be like, my girl, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Like, I would eat your ass even if you just got done taking a shit. What are you
Jesus
talking about?
Christ.
Like,
Without wiping.
Without wiping. Fuck it. Like, you know, like,
Gross.
come on. Like,
Gross.
but the thing is, though, is that, you know, I just don't understand. It's like, you can't, it's just like, guys who have these girls, it really make me want to beat the shit out of them, because it's like,
Facts.
yo, you really have this pretty ass girl as a girlfriend, and she's very sexually active and wants it a lot. Borderline nympho status.
See, that makes me want to say something, but Sue will beat the fuck out of me.
You know, but like borderline nympho status, and you over there like you don't want to touch her, you don't want to do anything.
Sue's all for
What the
pleasing.
fuck?
Sue's all for pleasing.
Yo, we gotta go jump
I'm
Ben.
just gonna yeah.
Yo, we gotta go fly to England and just beat this shit out of Ben.
I
Like,
mean,
we need to just like.
I do have my passport, which is like 2018. You were here, you're coming back again. Yeah, I'm looking for
we gotta go
fucking,
take care of some business.
I'm looking for a Dune Ben. Well, there's 20 people here. My name is Ben. Well, let's all meet up in the closet, buddies.
You know, beat the shit out of every
I
fucking
got
Ben in
tea and
England.
crumpets.
Until we find the right one, beat
Yeah.
the shit out of every Ben in England.
I'm looking for a pale ass chick named Becca. Wasn't born here, but she's here now.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Point me in the right direction.
Where the fuck is Ben?
That's what last time I said it was like, you know, I show pictures to, like, you know, to Junior, and we check her on Facebook, or like Elliot. I'm like, you know, I show pictures like, even my son, like, how cute you are. And she's like,
Yeah, she is pretty.
you know, like I've never had anyone show me off before. I can't believe like some American who doesn't know me. And I'm like, you know, if I woke up to that accent every fucking day, like people would be tired of hearing about you. Like, stop fucking talking about it already. Like,
No,
I wouldn't be tired of.
I
Listen,
I love
if
that.
you're
It's a
happy, Chris,
joke.
if you're happy,
Yes.
I want to know that you're
no,
happy.
it's just a joke of like say, because she's like saying how no one ever talks about her. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. Like, all I would do is talk about you. So
Yeah.
like, it's like,
Too late.
But that's just the thing, though. if as we're like borderline, we're family here.
yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean?
it is.
So if you're happy with this girl, like, because, you know, fuck you, Ben, you don't
Yeah.
count. But
We're coming for you.
Fucking,
I'm gonna throw all your sugar and fucking
I'm gonna hit you with a fucking flying knee.
We're coming, Ben. We're coming with foreign
Fucking hit that
objects.
piece of shit with some MMA.
Yeah.
Like, fuck out
Foreign
of
object.
here. Fucking Ben.
I'm gonna stone cold stun you, Ben.
I just don't get it.
What are you gonna do?
No, and this isn't even the first time I heard about this shit. It's not even the first time. Where
yeah.
girls would literally sit there and say, my boyfriend doesn't want to touch me. I'm like, I'll touch you right now. Come sit on my
I'll
face.
put on the sun. I touch myself while touching you. I will fucking dance through the room.
Fucking uppercut the fuck out of
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Are you fucking blind? Come here.
Fuck you, Ben. You don't see this girl. You don't see this girl that wants to. You just be like, "Don't touch me." What the fuck? You can touch me as much as you fucking want to.
Yeah. Top just saying freaking pictures of Pickle Rick being eaten to death. Like, hold on, it's like that ain't Pickle Rick.
Yeah,
that ain't Pickle Rick.
Three different positions at once. We know your talent.
Yeah, so
I'm drinking a drink of Jameson.
So tomorrow she hears, she's like, "What?" Because she asked a question like, "Chris, how's my ass gonna come up?" It just came up for a half hour.
Pretty much.
We talked about your pale booty. Like,
yes.
I mean, I didn't see that, but I mean, I saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I showed it. Chris showed me some mild pictures, but it's just that
I saw a face covered in white stuff and got the instant wrong idea.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he showed me your profile, and I seen it, and it's just like, damn, she's actually pretty as hell. And I'm like,
and demented.
So Ben doesn't want to touch this?
On top of that accent, so like,
and on top of the accent, it was like, Ben doesn't want to touch this? Yo, fuck Ben. Yo, how much does it cost for a passport? Yo, we all about to drop money on it. $200? Yo, let's all drop $67 and get this girl
I already
over here.
I already have my passport.
Okay, but I'm saying for her to come to the United States.
It might be
because she need to just move.
There.
Like,
but then there's the 2-week quarantine unless she can prove that
it's worth the wait.
It's worth the wait because we won't see Chris for a month afterwards.
Because he's gonna be a fucking skeleton on his bed.
He's gonna be empty as hell. He's gonna be like.
Have you seen Seven? Have you seen Seven when Glutton is just handcuffed there? It's like, that's gonna be Chris. And like Scary Movie. Like, she's gonna be plastered to the ceiling. Like, how the fuck did this happen? Hi, Becca. I see
nice
that
to meet you, I
pale
guess.
ass up here, there. So
I'm like, nice to meet you, I guess.
Oh, what's up, Junior? I've been up here for a couple of days. I'm stuck.
I'm just gonna grab my phone and get that meme. Fuck this
it makes
shit
it worse.
out
I get a video. She's like, "Oh, look, Chris, I'm cooking dinner." She's cooking dinner. Well, it's like, "You cooking dinner too?" Like, then she's like, "Here's another like video of my cabinet and all my cleaning supplies." I'm like, "You're cooking and cleaning?" I'm like, you need to
unicorn. She's one of the unicorns. She's one of the unicorns.
I said, "You are a unicorn." She's like, "No." She's like, "No one's ever called me a unicorn."
No, that's a unicorn. No. In all seriousness, that's a unicorn. Because when I had Molly here, she was saying the same shit, and she was just like, "Yeah, I cook and clean for my man. I do this and that," and then she was, I've had some other conversations with Molly, and Molly's a freak. Fuck. And it's just like, I talk dirty to her all the time, and it's funny as hell. You know what I mean?
She probably laughs like, haha.
Yeah, she definitely laughs. I know. She damn sure. Listen, especially not my big ass.
I'll just be sitting there just swerving a drink like, good. They can't do shit to these women. Like with the Palpatine hood on, good.
No, Molly got a fucking killer body, though. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
So she hides it behind the hologram.
No, she don't hide it behind nothing.
She hides it behind
my
the
eyes
hologram.
be
She's not real still.
Why else is she single again?
Huh?
Why is she single for?
I'm gonna be honest with you, is because these dudes don't appreciate that shit. Like, I'm telling you, this is what pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah.
It's like, these dudes don't appreciate what these women do. Now, don't get me wrong. No woman is 100% innocent.
No.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, though, it's like, fuck, I know Molly for years.
Yeah.
Like, I've known her for 7 years now. I've known Molly. You know what I mean? So it's like, and she hasn't changed. From day one, she hasn't changed. And all she wants, she understands that you work a lot. She'll understand, you would come home to a home-cooked meal after a long day of work.
So where's the ring?
Like, what the fuck? Like, and I'm over here like, God.
So are you saying I need to start a profile on a dating app dressed like Palpatine to make them see the
Pretty
wrong?
much.
Like, good. What's your word? I'm going to
like,
take
what the
over
fuck?
the
Yo, and
universe.
these unicorns
Dark
are with
side.
these fucking pieces of shit. Or with these unicorns are dating these fucking soul rats like fucking Ben, and it's just like, it's just like, I just don't understand.
Palpatine then, Black Ghoul. I was with this last guy. He called himself a Sith, trying to take over, and he wanted to kill this young boy. And I was like, I need a good man.
like you remember we did the 500 word essay with Molly, and she was like that. She was like, like with Josh out there do that. Yeah. It was just like Josh. Fucking Josh. Like, it's like between Josh and fucking Ben. I fucking hate both of y'all. Like, it's like, it's like Ben. Good. You have a pretty ass woman right there.
Yeah, that shouldn't exist.
And
you know what?
I trust Chris's judgment when he says that she has a nice body because he does. Chris.
That voice. It's that voice.
You know,
it's not just the body. No,
yeah, definitely.
It's not just the body.
It's not just the body.
Before we say it, Jimmy, it's
voice.
like what's funny because she's listening to the podcast slowly and stuff and hearing us like Facebook, and she's like, I said, you got a nice body. And she's like, oh, that means so much to me because I know you're dating strippers. And I'm like, so you know the quality that I have. Like,
that just means you need to learn how to rotate that.
Then I said to her, I was like, you've only listened to podcasts, so you know Junior's voice. You know the kind of man Junior is. You know the kind of women.
I'm a piece of shit.
You know the kind of women that Junior hangs out with, though. Like, Junior doesn't hang out with slobs.
I don't hang out with slobs. I don't hang out with no ugly bitches at all.
I was like, so if Junior gives you a compliment, you better take that what it is. Like,
listen, I'm gonna need you to relax. It's not like I'm the Don Juan of shit, but it's just the fact that
the two girls you brought down here, they weren't ugly. You got Molly and
true.
Selena. So
yeah, they're both sexy as fuck.
So Becca wanted to see Molly and Selena, like the quality that Junior has.
No, Becca is definitely pretty as hell. Like
she is.
She needs to be in this podcast. Like she needs to get one of these chairs. Well, no, she doesn't need a chair. So sit on Chris's lap. Chris's lap is her seat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we already know.
Don't worry, whatever pops up will go away in less than a couple of minutes.
Pretty much.
Chris is gonna.
What's that wet thing on my pale ass? Don't worry about it.
We're gonna have to take 10-minute segment breaks off the podcast.
That's
Chris
amazing
is having convulsions. We'll be right back.
So I tell her shit like, yeah. I was like, sorry if I made you creepy things to your voice. Like, oh, what kind of things you do to my voice? I'm like, I'm not going to comment on that.
Don't worry.
I'm just saying you sent me voicemails and that's all I need.
You won't have a voice when I get my hands on you.
Did you clean out that fleshlight yet? Because you probably nutted in that shit so much.
Like, come on, Becca. Say hello,
like,
good morning to me.
She's like, if you get a new fleshlight, you should name it after me. And I'm like, that can happen. Trust me.
See?
Ask her to make her own and then send it to you.
It's a real thing.
Amazon.
It's a real thing.
It's
women
a real
can
thing.
Actually get
they can actually, women can actually get,
get on a goddamn phone like, Becca, Junior had that idea.
Yo, stop mentioning my name about me having these ideas because she's going to meet me and she's going to look at me and be like, so this is the piece of shit that you've been talking to me about.
It's only 2:31 a.m. her time.
Yeah, she told me she's like 4 hours ahead of us. So right now it should be 11:30.
It's 5 because there's about a 3-week difference between fall and spring time zones. Trust me, I know someone who's lived in England for.
Well, it's like what you were saying. What's funny is like, because I know for a fact I say some cheesy shit, but also funny stuff at the same time. And like just the compliments I give her, and like I'll say something back like, oh, I never been complimented like this, and I'm like, really? But I believe her because I've known women that are on her level or even hotter that never got compliments like that. It's amazing. We're like, and you've had boyfriends and they never, holy shit.
That's what pisses me off. That's why I always posted that shit on Facebook when I'm like, if you sit there and you post a picture on Facebook where a couple is giving themselves a hug and you say that's goals, what the fuck type of relationship have you been in? Where you can't even get a fucking hug. Like, no.
Why not holding hands?
I know you've seen it on Facebook, Elliot. I know.
Than a hug. People are like,
exactly.
Oh, fuck, that dude is with her. They're holding hands. He will fucking knock my shit out.
Yes.
Like, he won't hold my hand.
Yeah.
Fuck that motherfucker. I'm coming over there and grabbing your hand.
Exactly. Like, oh, Ben, you don't want to fucking hold Becca's hand,
Chris
Ben?
will try to, but then he'll be like blasted backwards from ejaculation. He's like, hold my hand, Becca. Bam!
It'd be like fucking Daffy Duck in a cartoon blasting back from ejaculation.
You'll just see a Chris-sized hole
no self-control. No self-control at all whatsoever.
He's like, oh, like, are you kind of got to last a minute? I'm like, a minute? Like, you kind of marathon sex you talking about in a minute? Shit.
30 seconds is a goal.
You need to start thinking about French fries or something. Like, you need to just start thinking about something else when you're stroking because you need to be lasting. You're not going to tolerate that 45 seconds shit.
I try to think about nuns, but then I wonder, like, how fucking hot are they under those robes?
And then you go off again.
Mother Superior!
Actually, we can send. Let me send a voicemail right now.
Oh, fuck, we're all in trouble.
Oh, shit, we're all in trouble now.
Actually, everyone can hear you. We're recording on a podcast, and you're going to get a fucking voicemail. Do you want to say something?
Uh-oh. Here we go.
He's just like,
here we go.
I was like,
here we go.
Oh,
please tell me Tell me Guy Fawkes wasn't in the wrong for trying to blow Parliament.
Only PG things, I hope. You can't get me in trouble, LOL. We've always been PG, except,
Oh, no, fuck this. This is straight up triple X. One X for each
fucking
of them.
Ben. Fuck Ben.
We're coming for you, Ben. You and your fucking Earl Grey with 3 or plus
I told you,
sugars.
you want to get a segment of like how we talk about your pale booty for 45 minutes, and we've been doing it. So.
Oh yeah, we could talk about Becca for a while longer too.
I will get shit faced and seeing Mike Posner's that ass makes me want to.
Yeah, I did a couple more British accents for you, so I hope he makes you laugh.
Papa, can you hear me?
Just only PG things. I'm like, no one's listening to this shit. Don't worry.
Fuck it. PG for them is like rated R.
Fuck Ben.
What else the fat black guy talking about beating up Ben?
Seriously, is Ben like the base name?
Wash Ben. Like I will sit there and whoop this dude's
put him under the water and scrub him.
Fucking beat the living dog shit out of fucking Ben.
You want some mint jelly with your lamb, Ben? You ain't getting shit.
You ain't getting shit, but this boot to the face, Ben. Fuck you.
You want your tea, Ben? I'm throwing that shit in the harbor. Second tea party coming, Ben.
Second tea party.
Ben.
Fucking Ben. Fuck you. Yo, I'm so sick and tired of these fuckers like Ben, man.
And Josh.
Fucking Ben and Josh. Like, fuck these people, man. God.
Appreciate what you have because it could be gone in a day.
Because there's men like us, we will swoop the fuck in like a fucking vulture.
We'll appreciate what you ignored for how many days, weeks, months, or years. Trust me on that shit.
Because I will die with a smile on my face. She will sit on my face and not get up.
And his skin will be browner than it was because he eats ass.
And I eat ass. I don't give a goddamn. I
Poor
admit
Becca.
that shit.
We've been on this for like a half an hour about that.
Because the first 2 hours was kind of like depressing and stuff, and doing like
yes,
like not too political, but news stories. I'm like, well, Becca, like you're our comedy scapegoat for a half hour.
Yes. It's not a comedy scapegoat. It's not comedy. It's definitely not a comedy scapegoat. This is real shit.
It's
like this is some shit. Like, Chris, what you've told me, I gathered this.
Well, she said, "Oh my goodness, I think I'm actually lost for words." LOL.
Oh no, you're not.
Wait to hear this shit tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Tell her like, wait till you hear this goddamn podcast. Like shit, we over there thinking about catching flights to England to beat the shit out of Ben. Like
exactly,
about to mob up there. Three fat Americans come and beat the shit. Get the shit out of an anorexic British.
Like wait, sir, the trench coats are coming. No, that's just one of us who owns a trench coat. Get it right, woman.
Like we're making jokes where it's like, it's like my longevity junior's like, yeah, what'd you say? I was thinking about
thinking about French fries and cauliflower. I
could less a minute for you, but it's not gonna happen. So.
Yeah. No, I mean it's okay with all that white stuff on her face. That's more than one man.
I just showed them the video of the white stuff on your face and you massaging it slowly. We had to hear your voice because no one's heard your voice before. So now I put your voice on here, and it's like you just
the world now knows Becca.
You're saying things like lovely and
our hatred for Ben.
Me spot of tea, and
fuck Ben.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that shit. I'm gonna say that shit so many times.
I'm gonna be like the Undertaker, Ben.
Nah, we all team Chris and Becca. We team Chris and Becca. Fuck Ben.
We're gonna hold up a side team. Pale ass Becca. What team are you, sir? Pale ass Becca? Okay, keep moving.
We gotta go into England. Like, what is you guys' business here for?
Don't worry about it.
To handle business.
I'm team fuck Ben. Sir, my name is Ben. Wrong Ben, unless you're with a pale ass named Becca. And, sir, I'm not. Then you're good. Okay, you're good. Keep moving, sir. Keep moving.
We gotta scour the entire fucking country for that fuck.
By the way, sir, fuck Ben.
Fuck Ben.
Ben knows what I'm talking about. Fuck Ben.
There's probably like 38 fucking Bens over there too. So now we're gonna have to really search.
That's common name over there.
Yeah, it has to
like
be
John
over
here.
Yeah, that's like John in America. It's got to be too many fucking Bens over there.
Yeah.
I'll bring the rope.
Jesus Christ,
sir! Do you have anything to declare?
Tie him up and shit.
Well, pale ass Becca and Ben, who wasn't giving her attention, she needs a good place to go. Keep moving, sir. By the way, what's your name, Ben?
If we swing on every bed, it's just. We're never gonna find it. We're gonna get arrested before we actually find the real one.
The funny part is there's a clock tower called Big Ben. That's why it's so.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I saw it, but
we ain't looking for no clock tower. We looking for some scrawny fuck.
We're looking for a guy who likes Earl Grey tea, like 4 sugar
Earl Grey tea,
shitload of milk named Ben. I know who you're talking about.
He probably drinks acidophilus milk. Yeah. Let's beat the shit out of that fuck.
Where can I find this Ben and pale ass Beckham?
I swear to God, she's gonna listen to this shit and be like, what the fuck?
Like, I think I done fucked up with these voicemails. You done fucked up.
You done fucked up. You dealing with some Americans.
Here you go back there.
We ain't the British.
Yeah, here's the second teapot.
We don't give a fuck.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Especially Junior.
Huh?
Especially Junior.
Especially me. I don't give a fuck about nothing. Like, I have zero remorse for anything that comes out my fucking mouth.
I feel so bad for Ben.
Yeah.
He's gonna be crying himself tonight. Where's my mommy? She ain't fucking here, Ben.
She ain't here, Ben. Fuck you.
She called me Papa Palpatine.
Good. Oh,
Good. Let me feel your anger.
So
in here, Smart Becca, I hope you have a good 45 minutes
seriously,
to this shit.
Yo, seriously, Becca, shout out to you for giving us a comedy shit for the day, because we were talking about some depressing shit today, but it is necessary because the blue collar mindset is very ignorant for the most part and is very unaware of what's happening around us. So it is something fresh in our minds. Knowing that Chris has a
pale ass British
has a love interest, and
whose ass is as white as snow.
It's just like because Chris is a good dude. He just needs to stop trapping these females with his fucking downing his fucking confidence. Like the only man that I know that dated a stripper and converted a lesbian.
Man, yeah.
I don't know.
Who's keeping track?
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and this is the type of man who traps females into thinking, to feel sorry for them. Like, dude, like, what the fuck is you doing? Like, nah, but Becca, damn, that shit was funny as hell. That shit was definitely fucking funny. And honestly, to all you women out there, like, all you women pretty as hell. Like, I mean, not all of you, but, all the women that I talk to, I'll speak for
she's
myself.
like, oh my God, what have I done? I'm like, you set off Junior.
What? Oh, she said, what have I done?
Yeah. I was waiting to hear Junior in his 40-minute rant about
shit.
Ben.
Oh, yeah, fucking Ben. What have you done? Oh, you've awoken a fucking beast. That's what the hell you did. But,
yeah.
No, but it's just that, to you women out there, to all of you beautiful women out there, it's just that, there are guys who appreciate you for who you are, We might not be your type. You know what I mean? Like, we might not be them fucking 6-pack, 6'3", fucking, like, 250 solid motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you for who you are. We have a full appreciation of your beauty inside and out. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you don't have to give us pussy for us to be happy with you being around us. You know what I mean? Just you being around us makes us happy in itself. You know what I mean? And it's just like, fuck, like sex doesn't even excite me. That shit is just, it's there and it's fun and, and exhausting, but it's just like, it's there, like that's a bonus. That's not something that's not a requirement to have my time.
I feel like that's our problem. Like, and I've been saying to her this stuff messages when we get off the comedy stuff, and I get semi-serious for a little while. I said, yeah, we can all joke aside, and of course, what dude doesn't want sex? If you offer him, I'm going to say no. I said, but I said, considering this is a person that like lives on the opposite side of the fucking planet, I'm like, just you sending something stupid as like you fucking blowing kissy faces, you making raspberries, you making cross eyes and stuff too. Like, that means the world to me. It really does. Like,
exactly.
It's also good as having a friend. Like, you happen to be good looking, which is an extra factor. But like somebody that good looking with that fucked up personality, like sense of humor wise, that's priceless.
It's
like,
rare. It's definitely rare that you can have that. I mean, you have an amazing sense of humor.
Yeah.
And that's not present because there's a lot of females that don't have a sense of humor.
Oh yeah,
that they're just fucking stuck up, especially over here in fucking America.
I keep telling that she's like, I was like, you wouldn't fucking last in America. You wouldn't because fucking this is.
No,
like
I think she would. I
think she
would fucking own people because
what I'm saying, but
British
like,
women
her personality is
don't
like this isn't the
fuck.
American. I'm saying it doesn't seem like British women are like they're not American. Like everything's offensive. Like she just.
That's what we need.
You've seen the stuff she sent me. I'm like, you are fucked up, which is
we
awesome.
need more women like.
Well, I gotta go over
Team Molly and Becca.
Yeah,
Team Molly and Becca.
I gotta go over to England anyways to kidnap another English chick, so I can just bring her back too.
I'm just letting you guys know I do not condone kidnapping by any means. I'm just letting you know kidnapping is not in my MO.
If they say okay, please grit me, I mean I just want to.
That's not kidnapping. That is.
Yeah, but
that is willful capture.
I'm Papa Palpatine. So, you know.
But not.
Like, Ben might be calling it kidnapping, but Becca's calling it salvation.
You know, but that's just the thing, though. It's just that, you know, there's so many women that stuck up. There's so many women that, you know, they think like their shit doesn't stink when all shit stinks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just the fact that, you know, there's women like Becca, Molly, who, you know, they're gorgeous.
Carrie.
They're gorgeous.
I'm going to throw out Carrie because I've known her for 18 years.
There
she
you go.
listens to this over in England, in Cornwall, and loves it.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, women like that are, you know, you're rare, you know, and we appreciate you a lot. We really do. We appreciate you. Like, you know, and you haven't had sex with us yet, and we appreciate you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is, though. It's like, you haven't given us pussy, and we still appreciate your company.
I mean, one of them has let me do things to them. I'm just not going to say which one.
Okay. I mean, that's fine, but I'm just saying overall, though, it's just that, you know, we appreciate the company, we appreciate the attention, we appreciate just you being in our life. You know what I mean? Straight. Like, it's just having female friends at times, to me, is nurturing as hell. Yeah. Because of the fact that you literally can just sit there. It's such an ease on the mind. Other guy friends, only thing they talk about is like, yo, you seen that fat ass over there? Yo, I bet she ain't gonna get you no pussy.
I'd make her walk limp for a week. Let me
like all you talk about, like, it's like, yo, all you talk about is Madden, some bitch, and something else, and it's just like, you know, conversations with other guys, unless they're family, is boring as fuck. It is. And it's just like, but with females, it's like, yo, especially intelligent females that got a lot to say and that work hard, you can always have a conversation with them. You can always. Like, being best friends with them is amazing. Now, I mean, on the offset that we do get a chance to date them, shit, I'm pulling out a ring ASAP. You ain't going no fucking where. My pull-out game gonna be on negative 100. Pull-out? Oh, absolutely not.
We're just throwing this out there. A certain man whose name we said 50 times now, who will not be named. Ben.
It's like Chris is gonna be parking in that driveway and he ain't backing up for nothing. Like that motherfucker, man.
Chris doesn't have a pull-out game. It's like, I'm going in hot.
He's like, I'm going in hot. Houston, we got a problem.
God damn it, Chris, you're making the rest of us look bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. But it's just the fact that it's like, we just have a genuine appreciation for women like that. And shout out to you women that knows how to be a friend. Like, knows how to just be that friend, and, you know, we could talk dirty to, and it's just like, it's not fucking awkward. Like, shout out to you women. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we're always gonna have dirty jokes, you know what I mean? We're always gonna have, you know, funny jokes, raunchy jokes, dirty jokes, but shout out to the women that don't take that shit too seriously and just goes along with it. And if anything, really is with it.
Extra shout out for the women who bring their dirty jokes against our dirty jokes, because that shit leaves me speechless.
Team Unicorns
and anti-Ben and Josh.
Yeah, we're definitely anti-Ben and Josh.
I just told her before she was Ben, I'm like, Elliot's gonna kidnap her. She's like, what's it gonna be, taking number 5?
Yes.
Like, Elliot's gonna take
you. Number 5 and the elusive trench coat.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I could see Elliot would be the one with the muscle, and I'd be the one with the guns, and definitely fucking Chris would be the one with the brains.
No, see, Ben would be. See, I'm gonna play out this whole scenario for Becca, pale ass Becca. Like, she's gonna be gone from her bed, and Ben is gonna be like, "Where is she?" And I'm just gonna come out of the shadows in my all black, like, "She ain't here, motherfucker. Where is she? America!" And just choke hold him until he's asleep. Like, shh. Go to sleep, Ben. We'll take good care of her because we know how to take care of her. And boom, he wakes up like, did I just piss myself and have a nightmare? America!
After Elliot may have raped him.
After I may or may not have stuck a dandelion in his ass, like in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Give him the fucking royal British treatment.
And a letter, "Fuck your tea party."
Fuck your tea party from America, bitch.
No, it's not America. It's Murica. America.
If I told her, I was like, man, if I was over there, I was like, I would look you like a British bulldog.
Jesus Christ.
So you'd snot on her too? Those things like...
You fucking disgusting bastard.
Yeah.
Oh, there's slobber everywhere.
Tell her you'd put cream like we put on everything.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Hey, she may like it.
That's funny. I never had anyone too. There is no filter with her. What? Like, I keep saying, like, I keep testing waters. Like, am I offending you? She goes, you can't offend me. And I'm like, I don't think I can. I've never seen anybody where just like, there's just no fucks given. It's refreshing. It's like, I think like Sarah Silverman's kind of offensive, or like Whitney Cummings. Becca could fucking put them like to rest. Like, she's like, she's got a dude sense of humor. It's
Chris's face gonna look like oil in a saucepan after.
No, he's gonna have Peter Griffin's sex face. He's gonna be cutting a pancake like.
Gonna be like the Make-A-Wish
kid in that picture.
All right. Let's kill us at 3 hours then. So, all right. Thanks everybody for listening. And as always, don't want your money, don't need it. I'm trying to cut this at 3 hours exactly. And when she hears us tomorrow, she's gonna be laughing her fucking ass off. Especially hearing Drew talk about Ben.
Fuck you, Ben.
All right. Yeah. So have fun with this Becca tomorrow, and we're out.